The year was crazy. I can't believe it's done. So many changes. Felt like a run. People on the streets, voices loud and clear. 2024, we say good riddance here. Goodbye so long, we'll wave you away. Tired of the chaos, we're done with this play. Goodbye so long, let's start a fresh day. 2024, we're moving our way. Economy was wild, prices in the air. Social media buzz, opinions everywhere. Storms and fires, felt the earth shake. But we're standing strong, got a future to make. Goodbye so long, we'll wave you away. Tired of the chaos, we're done with this play. Goodbye so long, let's start a fresh day. 2024, we're moving our way. We face the ups, we face the downs. Yeah, yeah.
This is a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.
The year was crazy. I can't believe it's done. So many changes. Felt like a run. People on the streets, voices loud and clear. 2024, we say good riddance here. Goodbye so long, we'll wave you away. Tired of the chaos, we're done with this play. Goodbye so long, let's start a fresh day. 2024, we're moving our way.
Rhymes are fly, my beats are sick. My crew is big and it keeps getting bigger. That's 'cause Jesus Christ is my name.
All I ask is, if we have tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
But ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he really means that.
Half a cup of what I call half.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves were possessing weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda.
Handle the truth.
I remember that with that smoke. We are still here!
We have to say yes to socialism.
Bet you want to know tomorrow. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the books. It's The System Is Down, and I turned off Dave's camera. It's the end of the year wrap-up where we, do our things. Dave's here somewhere. I swear, he is. And if I remember how to use this program, it'll make things go a lot smoother. Welcome back to the show where we talk about all the uncomfortable topics like generally conspiracies, politics, and religion and all that. Hey, there's Dave. Yay! There he is. But today we're talking about something, it could be controversial, it might not be. Maybe we'll have debate, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have fist fights through the screen. I don't know, but we're going to be wrapping up the year as we've done every year, I think since the very beginning, which I just looked up a couple seconds ago, and we've been going since April of 2017, so we're pushing 7 years now. This will be our 6th annual Downie Awards ceremony, where we just talk about our favorites and our least favorite things of the year, because nobody's paying attention at this point in the season anyway. Nobody's sitting down to listen to Tim Pool scream about people who are screaming about Jews, or Candace Owens screaming about Babylon Bee, screaming about Candace Owens screaming about Jews. All those things, all those holiday things that have been going on. Nobody cares. So we're just gonna have a nice chill Sunday afternoon and hang. Dave, what's up, Dave? How's it going,
dude? Great to be back with you, man. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
How was your holiday, bro?
So far, great. We did all the family stuff. Went to see my extended family and some of my even more extended family, and we had some family over, and we had friends over, and all sorts of fun stuff. So
that's
good,
great.
Good times.
I could have used a text, but that's cool.
Merry Christmas, Dave. Merry Christmas.
And to you, my bro. Glad it was great.
I do think your mic is now coming through. I know we tested the audio before we started, but I think it's not coming through your mic now.
Oh, no. Okay.
Tap on it. Tap on it. Let me see. Maybe it is. Maybe it just sounds echoey. But it is coming through that.
Okay, good.
It could be me. It's fine. What'd you do, Dave? I know you didn't get any texts from your favorite people in the world, but Did you do anything fun to cheer you up?
Yes, I hung with the fam, and we had a great time. Didn't have to do much traveling, which is always great. You don't want to spend Christmas doing that.
Yeah.
And man, it was awesome. Love it.
Rad.
Love this time of year. I'm actually bummed because I love the music. Lots of Christmas music. Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, that kind of shit.
Sure.
So I hate to put that stuff to bed, but
Well, you don't have to, Dave. Fortunately, Spotify works year round.
I don't have to tell anybody about my Christmas playlist that I'm cranking in April.
Yeah. Do what you got to do to keep the spirit alive, Dave. I mean, it is the conflict in every single Christmas movie since the beginning of time is not enough Christmas spirit. So perhaps it's people like you who insist on hiding their year-round Christmas spirit. That is, that's why we have to buy our own shit these days.
I'm onto it.
Anyway, if you're here, welcome to the Sunday afternoon special. If you want to weigh in, we can make this more interactive than usual, even because we don't have a ton. If you got your own favorites, let us know. We'll ask you as we go. Let us know your favorites. We're talking primarily movies, TV shows, the others, audio stuff, podcasts, and albums, if you have actually listened to anything this year, which I have barely. But fill in the blanks for us. Let us know what we've missed, and we'll let you know what you missed, and we'll just have a chat together. If you want to make sure that we see your comment, be sure to put fake super chat in all caps so that we notice. And Merry Christmas to you all, and Happy New Year to all, especially and mostly people in the Downers Club. People like Queen Nover, Gilda Kate, John Winshower, Bob Seifert, No Tread, Scott something, Kim Miyuppie, Silas, Adam Choi. You know, if I make up new names, then the people who only listen to the audio will assume that the Downers Club is just growing rapidly in size. So Tim Poole, all of the Towercast guys signed up, or Tower Gang guys. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and RFK Jr. If you want to get your name on that list and have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down and sign up to support the show and get a bunch of extra stuff. More weird, more offensive, more content, more coming in the new year as well, as we have new plans and big things in mind. But more on that next time. Patreon.com/The System Is Down. Sign up and support and be a decent human. Merry Christmas. All right, we're back. Now, it's been a while, Dave. Did you do this last year? I know last year would have been your first time if you did, right?
I think at least once, if not twice, but I definitely didn't come prepared. Yeah. You were like, "Oh, it's the Downies." I was like, "Great."
Cool,
That sounds whatever.
I
don't know what that means, but yeah. And I didn't have any nominations.
That does sound right. And as we were showing up to this, for some reason, I was thinking, should I text him and ask him if, make sure he's got a list and he understood the assignment? I didn't remember that you hadn't understood the assignment last time, but that is ringing a bell now. So right. I assume you did this time? And
then this time I did look, and then I realized how little shit I watched and listened to this year.
That it seems to be the trend, at least as of the last 3 to 4 years. During COVID, this whole premise kind of went to shit as I just fell off of all entertainment during that time and was only paying attention to news and stuff. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
That's what happened. Yeah. I got a couple things, one in each category that I'll put forth. And then a bunch of stuff I could probably shit on. There was more stuff that sucked than was good.
Yeah. I want to hear all of your least favorites too, Dave, because I enjoy, my lady and I enjoy a good hate watch from time to time. So yeah, we'll share them all around, and things that you intend to watch, wherever it's lax. There's no hard and fast rules here, but yeah, if you guys disagree with our rulings or you have anything to add to them, please feel free to. But I think we're going to start. Where do you think we should start, Dave? Do you have any preference?
No.
Okay. How about shows? TV shows, because that's going to be my smallest category by far.
Mm-hmm.
I got
one show that I enjoyed and would recommend that came out in 2024.
What?
Would you care to guess what it was, if there was a good show that you saw this year? What was the best show you saw this year?
That's spoiling my countdown entirely, Dave.
I won't. You got an entire yeah. See, I don't even have a list, so I'll give you my one show that I would recommend. I would recommend watching Fallout. That was a good show. I think Amazon put that out. Strong female lead without being annoying about strong female leads.
Sure.
I can't remember the actor, but whoever plays the skeleton cowboy in that is just great. Fantastic actor.
Skeleton cowboy, always on spot in every performance.
Dude, so great. It's got a good bit of nostalgic aesthetic. I never even played the video game.
I was going to ask if you had played
Nope, never played that. But this is you have or you haven't?
I have not.
No. And of course they're going to bring it back because they made a shit ton of money, so that'll be good. And that's my one nod, hat tip, and what I would recommend watching. There were other shows I watched, but that's the only one I'd probably recommend from 2024.
What else have you watched that you wouldn't recommend?
I watch all the Marvel shit. So I watched Agatha all along.
Okay. I know there's been a few, because there's always at least 2 or 3 that come out every year. If you keep up with that, I usually bring them up, but I haven't watched any of them this year. I've heard Agatha sucked. Was there any worth mentioning that were good? And was it as bad as everybody said it was?
I don't think I hated it as much as people that really hated it, but I would not recommend it. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, you got to watch this.
Yeah.
No. But if you're a nerd about all, just continuity of the entire saga or whatever, I guess, you know, you could get it in. But we talked about on the show before, like it's pretty much, it's a musical. If it's not a musical, it leans kind of like in that direction.
Sure.
And
pass.
I don't know.
And I like musicals, but I'm just,
you do, yeah.
I watched whatever her character was in before that. Was it WandaVision where they brought her in? Yeah, I watched that and was like, it's fine. That was kind of the last thing that I really watched. Unless Loki came out after that, I watched the first season of Loki. But yeah, the Agatha thing. It's like I didn't even care about her character in the introduction of her. I definitely didn't think she needed an entire show. And if the show wasn't something that even Marvel nerds were all that much into, typically, I'm just gonna pass. I've got a life to live.
That's the thing. Too much time. Got plenty of time for Disney musicals. Yep.
Yeah.
Would not recommend. But
was there anything that you intended to watch but did not have a chance to? Anything that you're excited to cross off your bucket list in 2025?
I want them to wrap up The Boys, because that show has gone from like really great to mediocre to kind of like bad at times.
Sure.
In fact,
I watched the first season of that, so that has not kept up either, in your opinion.
Okay. No.
Because that's one of my 2 watches for the near future. But we'll see. We'll see if I get there based on your glowing review. Yeah, for me, my shows are pretty short as well. And it's kind of a cheat list because I have 3 shows that I have watched, quote unquote, but only one of them did I finish the entire season of, and the other 2 I have started and barely gotten into, but I like where they're going. American Horror Story, Delicate, the latest season of that, I watched the entirety of. Horrifying, not in like the, oh, yay, fun, horrifying way, but more of the, I can't tell if they're trying to expose Hollywood or if they're trying to less sneakily put the reality of Hollywood into their stuff, but, you know, woman is like trying to make it as an actor or some sort of celebrity status, and she literally sells her soul and sells her child into this blood feminist cult, and they take the child and murder it so that she can be successful. You know, they drink the blood and all that. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, I respect that they're showing the true nature of how things work in the world, and another part of me that's like, are they celebrating it, or are they just I have a hard time believing that anything coming out of Hollywood is not celebrating what Hollywood does, but I don't know. That's just me. There's at least one scene in there that I was looking for to pull up here because it's absolutely horrendous, where they consume the child. And I'm going to share that. It's going to make its way into some sort of political ad. If you're out there and you're going to run for politics in some way in the near future, and you want, a strong anti-abortion ad, hit me up because I've got just the content for you. But anyway, so that's that. Number 2, which I've seen, I think, like 2 or 3 episodes of. Dave, I watched 2 of them while sleeping on an air mattress at your house, of the show Tires, starring Shane Gillis, about just a surplus of tires at this rinky-dink little shops, like repair shop. So they decide to make it into a tire shop so that they don't have to send all these tires back and admit their failure. And so now they're trying to sell tires. Very mundane premise. Funny because it's Shane Gillis, and I think it has a lot of, The Office-ish potential. Not quite to that level, but I think it could build a little bit of a cult following, and I like it. It's fun. It's cute.
I did watch an episode of that too. It was pretty good, and I think it's supposed to take place around here. I think they might have even filmed a couple of the first episodes.
Oh, nice.
Around. Yeah, he's from like the Philly area, somewhere around there.
Gotcha. And my number 1 show of the year, which I have watched a grand total of 1 episode of, but I have high hopes for it.
But it's the best, huh?
Well, so did you ever watch Dexter, Dave?
I've seen some episodes.
Okay.
Man, you watch some sick shit. You like that blood and guts.
We're just getting started, Dave. So yeah, I liked Dexter. The original run. Have my issues with the ending and all that, as everybody does. The reboots have been surprisingly good, surprisingly well done. This is like a prequel reboot, so it's young Dexter and young Deborah, his sister, and young Dad and everything. And I had a lot more skepticism of that than, a continuation of the initial story. But this is going back and using different actors to play these parts. And I gotta say, they fucking nailed it. And I buy it. I haven't watched the original show in such a long time that it's hard to remember some of it, but the guy who plays Dexter and the chick who plays Deb are, if you told me that it was footage of them at a younger age, I would buy it, because they did an amazing job casting these actors. And the story, I think there's, so far, again, I'm only one episode in. I know there's like 4 episodes out by now, so there's a good chance that it went completely downhill, and let me know in the comments if you have watched it and think so, and I will not waste my time, but I'm looking forward to seeing more. And they're already like announcing the next Dexter reboot spinoff, whatever. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you've got an idea and you can execute it and it doesn't, ruin anything worse than the original ending of the show already did ruin it, then go for it, and I will watch and judge accordingly. But yeah, Dexter, there was Dexter New Blood. This is like Dexter First Kill or something like that. I don't know. Dexter, the prequel is what I'm going to call it, is my number one show based off of one episode. And that's probably not something that I would say, like, recommend as the number one show for anybody else, because if you weren't into the original show, or it's not your cup of tea like Dave, if you're a basic bitch like Dave, and you just want to watch your Marvel cookie cutter garbage, you go ahead and watch your gay musicals, and I'm going to watch dude kill people. But if you're into Dexter,
you want to claim to be a man of God, and then go watch people spill blood over satanic altars. Do whatever you need to do.
If you want to go watch
Merry Christmas, everybody. If you want to spend Jesus' birthday fucking squirting blood all over the place.
Dave's just mad because he spends most of his time watching pedophile Disney Network and by himself without kids, while I have two.
Damn it.
But 3.
Disney's going to lose my subscription. It's probably best in 2025.
Yes. All right. Fake super chat from Sim Kalpin says, fake super chat, another unique 2024 film, you're getting ahead of us, bud, was Hundreds of Beavers. It's a slapstick epic. It was a lot of fun and mostly appropriate for kids. Hundreds of Beavers apparently is mostly appropriate for kids. All right. Thank you. We will definitely look into Hundreds of Beavers. Have you seen Hundreds of Beavers, Dave?
If it's not on Disney Plus, I haven't seen it, dude. That's
I only support the pedophiles. I mean, it's not just a guilty pleasure. It's a need.
I meant Hundreds of Beavers. Yes, Hundreds of Beavers is actually on Disney Plus. Yes, I've seen it. Whole season.
All right. Let's see. I was going to read people's comments that weren't necessarily fake super chats, but that makes it too confusing, because then I have to pay attention to what your whole fucking conversations in the chats are. So I'm just going to not. Unless you fake super chat it, let me know. Oh, I missed one. I think. Did I miss one? Yes. Another one from Sim Kalpin. There was a great little low-budget animated film that came out this year called Flow. It's very unique, and I recommend it. You see Flow, Dave?
No.
No, me neither.
No, I haven't.
But thank you for the recommendation. John Winshower says, fake super chat. Yo, I love both of you guys. No homo. Here's to another year of this crazy fun world. Happy New Year.
Nazi fags.
What?
He's a good one.
Yeah. He is indeed. All right. Now, for my shows that I intend to see, and probably would have, good chance it would have beat out anything here, The Penguin is my number one that I have not seen but intend to, on HBO Max, I believe. I know very little about it other than it's based on the Penguin from Batman, and it's gotten glowing reviews, which is very hard for any DC franchise to do at this point. But do you got any thoughts on the Penguin, Dave? Have you seen anything, comic nerd?
I've people. Yeah, I should have seen that one. Too dark for me. I need a little Disney glow with my comic book.
Good Lord, no. Dave. The Penguin. it gives me nightmares. I watched one episode. He bit a guy. It was scary.
It's a little
he ate a raw fish, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Back to Disney.
I'll check that one out in 2025. I'll make time for the Penguin.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Right on. Also, I don't know anything about it, but intend to watch begrudgingly Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I don't know. Let me know if you've watched it, if it's not worth the time, but It's been a while since I've watched some Star Wars with the boy, so I might have to get back into that. Also, I heard Arcane is a great show on Netflix. I don't know. It looks great. It looks like a well-made, animated anime. Believe it or not, I'm not into anime, but I've heard good things from people who are also not completely sold out to anime. Anyway, I think that's it for shows, Dave. Did you have any other shows?
Oh, man. No, I don't. I have one in each category. And
so, Dave, next year, are you going to come up with 2 shows per?
No, I'm not going to watch more
add
shit
one
so I can
thing?
talk about it. No, absolutely
I'm not going to
not.
put in time for this show. Fuck you.
So you could, watch a season's worth of crap so you can reminisce about it at the end of the year. No,
To be clear,
I don't
the
know.
amount of Dave's responsibilities on this show is show up, and in the last year, he's had one job, and that's just to sit down and watch some shit and talk about it. You got an entire year to do it, and he's like, I ain't doing that.
I watched the show. I watched one show and it was good. You're lucky it was good.
Thank you, Dave.
You got my recommendation.
Thanks for putting in the
I'll
work.
tell you about a good movie next.
Perfect. Well, we're
That I
not
know
talking
you
about
are-
movies
that I
next.
know you didn't like. That I know you didn't like. By the way.
Probably. Muddied Waters Media says, fake super chat, The Bear, Fallout, Bad Monkeys, and Tires. There you go. I haven't heard of The Bear or Bad Monkeys, but we discussed the other two. All right. Let's see. The Penguin was fantastic. No one at all says, fake super chat, The Penguin was a victim. They were awful to him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry. Is that why you couldn't handle it, Dave? It's too mean?
No, I just haven't gotten around to that one yet. I'm actually looking forward to it. I want to see the Penguin.
Well, my second shortest list would be musical albums, so I think we should probably go ahead and knock that off. What you got? Anything, Dave? Did you listen to anything this year?
I bought one album this year, and it's just in the last week, and it's fantastic. And it's Muddy Waters 2 by Redman. If you want that boom bap hip hop from the 90s back, then I would recommend getting this. It's like enough for like a double album. They used to put out double
what's
albums.
it called?
Muddy Waters 2, like also TOO. And it's fucking great.
Speaking of Muddy Waters, Muddied Waters Media says, fake super chat, The Penguin was incredible. Thank you.
It was, that's cool that they're here today. Because that literally, I could show you. That's coincidence.
Dave, I'm pretty sure you also bought Eminem's new album this year, did you not?
Would not recommend.
We've disputed this on the show, I think. I know we've disputed it in real life at least, but
it goes Reggie, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie. Reggie Noble, Redman. That's who you should buy. Buy that CD.
Too old. Or yeah. I'm
Too
not
old for that Eminem reference? Yeah, you know that. Yes.
Now, I thought the new Eminem album, I listened to it again, as I said before on the show. I listened to it once, and you had already said that you hated it at that point, and I listened to it not entirely sober, so I'll have to re-listen to it at some point. But I was sitting in a hotel room, and I was like, "This shit slaps. It slaps."
A little dark for me.
Goddamn it. All right, is that all you have for music? Just Redman?
That's all that came out this year. Yeah, like I said, dude, I'm on my shit in the car. I'm listening to Motown, 90s hip hop, maybe some classic rock, but nothing that came out in 2024.
Huh.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, mine's not that much better. I've got a few. A lot of them are just, I mean, it's kind of the same as shows where it's like, I like that this album came out. I listened to this album, but it's not like I listened to it on repeat enough to have that like a hardcore critique or breakdown of anything. A lot of them were just, oh, that band that I listened to in high school, they put out a new album this year, so I'll check it out. And then I forgot about it until making this list. First and foremost being, I'd say probably a tie between POD and Spoken. They both had new albums this year, which are two bands from back in the Christian new metal days and whatnot, when Limp Bizkit was awesome. Just kidding. Limp Bizkit will always be awesome. But yeah, I took the boy to see POD this year also, and almost took him to see Spoken. So It's fun to relive some of the old bands and see them still kicking. And I would say, I mean, both of these bands, I'm sure most people aren't that familiar with either of them, probably POD more so, but both of these bands I've had a love-hate relationship with over the years because they fell off for me for about 10 years, and I didn't care about anything that they did really. And now it's like, you're doing some new stuff, some fun stuff, some throwbacks, and keeping the dream alive, and I gotta respect it. I also have Eminem, The Death of Slim Shady on here. I'm not sure where exactly that lands, but I mostly put it on here to make sure that it was brought up just to piss Dave off a little bit. Alien Ant Farm had a new album this year called Mantras. Alien Ant Farm fan, Dave? You seem like you might have run into them, and you're going to throw it in my face in a minute at some point.
No, I'm glad that they covered a song in the late 90s.
Fuck you,
and
Dave. You're so go watch Disney. Go listen to the Disney soundtracks or whatever.
No, I am grateful for that song, which is actually
one song
quite a remake.
Knows?
Quite a remake, but
It
yeah,
is.
you guys, and I'm really happy for them. They still get to make music because they covered Michael Jackson. That's great.
All right. I can't imagine like being that band that like I love their music. Outside of that, that's far from my favorite song of Alien Ant Farm, and I've ranted about it many, many times. That's the only song that anybody knows. It would piss me off if I was Alien Ant Farm. I'd be eternally grateful that I had to play that song at every fucking show for the rest of my life, but I would also be pissed off that I have to play somebody else's song at every show for the rest of my life. I didn't write it, and it's the only song that anybody seems to know. That would be that'd be fun.
Yeah. These are like Billy Corgan problems.
Yeah.
You want me to play Bullet for Butterfly Wings? I made this double album for you.
I also liked here's a good one that might play into some later things. Number 3 on my this is my third favorite album of the year, and I haven't listened to it that much. We're gonna get into it more later, but the soundtrack from Joker 2 Folie à Deux is on my top albums list of the year. Dave, got any thoughts?
Sounds pretty gay, but whatever. Let's
I like
check
how
it
you
out.
start with, I only watched
One more
Agatha this year. I only watched that, but I'm going to judge everything that you
Bro,
did.
listen. Every movie that I'm going to put on here, every show is Marvel shit because that's just the only stuff that I watched this year. Other than that, it probably came out in the 80s or 90s because everything is crap these days. It's my resident old man privilege, bro. I get to say everything sucks, and it actually does.
You can say everything sucks, Dave, but it's hard to have sit on your high horse when all you watch is stuff made for children.
Oh, the comic book stuff is, that cross genre, bro. Three generations are enjoying.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
it's for man children too. Yeah.
True that. No. I'm sure Dexter is only for don't let your kids watch that shit.
It's probably the psycho white bitches that like Dexter too, because they're into the murder mystery shit.
Anything murdery, blood, horror. Yeah, it's just not me, man. It's not my vibe.
Whatever. All right, so Joker soundtrack was too dark for Dave. Moving on, I also had my number 2.
We're not going to hear the song? You're not going to play the best song of the year? I want to hear it.
Oh, it's not the best song of the year. There's nothing on there that's the best song of the year. I don't know. I didn't think about the best song. What's your best song of the year, Dave? That one from Agatha?
It was very, upbeat. Yeah. No, that wasn't a fucking good show. I watched it. I didn't nominate that show. It's not good. I do not recommend that.
It's just the only show I remember watching, and worth noting.
Yeah, no, I watched other shows, but nothing that came out in 2024.
Antiques Roadshow didn't make the list this year. Sorry.
Yeah, that show's not brand new. You know what I mean? I've watched other shows, like Ozark. I watched some of that this year, but it didn't come out this year. You know what I mean? That was a good show though. So I don't have any recommendations. I wouldn't nominate anything for like an award. Like I thought that was the task, but yeah, definitely don't go watch. I would not award Agatha anything, please.
Taxation is theft, but if it's got to go towards something, bringing back the Antiques Roadshow on PBS, I'm fine with it. Take my money, please.
Yeah.
Number 2, you've never heard of probably. Judah and the Lion. It's called The Process. Great album. I'm just gonna throw it out there. If you're into indie-ish, like weird, I don't know, stuff that will make you cry and laugh and just fun, weird shit, go check out Judah and the Lion, The Process. It's a nice personal story that he shares, and he's great at that. Have you even heard of that band or Judah or any of these people that I'm talking about, Dave?
I can't believe you're going to come on here and not even have a clip, a fucking sound
Am I
clip,
supposed
nothing.
to? It's my show, Dave.
There was this one album that sounded
I
great.
thought
as
we
the
were being
favorite album of
lazy
the year.
today.
Anyway, moving on. No, I've heard of the band, but no, I don't know. I didn't know they put out a record. But if you had a recommendation and you could give me 10 seconds of that
All
clip
right.
without getting a strike,
All
I
right.
might
We're
I
gonna
might
give
go
you-
out and purchase it.
All right. I don't remember which. I mostly watched Joker 2, and I've got controversial opinions on that one that you could already guess. But this scene is probably the one that people are most familiar with. So you haven't seen the movie or heard the music, right, Dave?
No.
Okay.
Neither.
We'll watch a bit of this. I'm sure we'll get some sort of copyright strike to finish off the year because Dave's got to have it his way. And he's not here, and he doesn't deserve to be here. Let's see. There we go.
Here we are.
All right, this is The Joker is Me.
There's always a joker in the pack. There's always a lonely clown. The poor laughing fool.
We're going to have to talk over it or something because I guarantee you this is going to be highly copyrighted.
I was sinking into myself.
Yeah, I get it, Dave. I get it.
It's very deep.
It's the incel in you that really makes you enjoy this. Come with me to the dark side, Dave.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump ahead a little bit.
Always a joker. That's the rule. But fate deals the hand in a
Bang.
The joker is me.
It's like moody, jazzy shit. And then he gets all murdery.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much, but it gets great. And yeah, I don't want to spoil one of the best scenes in the movie, but
Okay.
it's fun. Like I'll save some of it for when we talk about the movie, but I like musicals. It doesn't hold up to the first one. No, it doesn't need to exist, but I like the music, and I will probably listen to the album fairly regularly because it's enjoyable. And even though he has clearly smoked 200 packs of cigarettes per day since Walk the Line, Joaquin Phoenix's even raspiest of raspy voices I enjoy. And Lady Gaga, sure, she eats babies with Marina Abramovic. Look it up. But she does have a great voice because Satan makes great music. So go check it out if you're into that sort of thing. Number one for me is 21 Pilots, Clancy, their new album. Are you familiar with that, Dave? If not, I'll play you clips of both that and Judah and the Lion if you're really interested.
I know 21 Pilots. I don't know this jam, but they've made some tunes that I like.
Yeah, their new
Which
album.
is weird. Yeah, it is fairly recent.
I know this is kind of like, I feel like some people would call having 21 Pilots at the top of my albums list similar to you having Agatha and whatever the fuck it's called at the top of your everything list for music and TV so far. But
it's the best thing that came out in 2024 across the board. It's great. It's got everything you need. It's got everything. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Judah and the Lion is stuff that is moody but happy and just very real. I have a very loud ad playing in my ear. 1 second. But I'll pull up a little bit of that. I think this is from that album. I don't even know what's on what album anymore because all of his stuff is pretty fucking great. So.
It's the long dark night of the soul, where you find the light.
Is this a Christian band?
The dude is a Christian, but he also is very real. He uses profanity and talks like a real human and stuff and gets a lot of flack for things, but he ends up in that category because he does talk about his faith, but he's not like branded specifically that way.
I didn't hear one word he said. It was the kind of music that they made.
Well, it's not all this.
And by the way, that wasn't an insult. It wasn't bad.
Sure.
I'm just like immediately this sounded like worship music.
It's not like his stuff isn't generally this folksy. I just pulled up whatever rang a bell, but he's got a lot of. It's similar to 21 Pilots in that it's pop, but also using a lot of unique, weird elements that I really like and stuff that doesn't really typically go in pop music. I think, like, I give 21 Pilots, yes, they are the Disney whatever, probably seen by many as of the albums world this year, but they're also like putting out some of the weirdest stuff that blends pop and fusion and rap and hip hop and rock and stuff into a kind of genre bending thing that still gets #1 hits on radio on a regular basis without just talking about Taylor Swift's latest boyfriend. But here's more.
Not even close, no, it was the feeling you left me alone at home. Shit, bring that beat in. I came back from hell with stories to tell. Wish my demons well. They're crying in their cells.
All right. Whatever. Go look it up. Go look it up. I'm not getting my entire channel taken down just because Dave doesn't listen to shit.
Yeah. Well, I need recommendations. So does your audience.
Yeah.
If you want any, if you're going to put your stamp of approval on it, give them a little taste.
That's fair. That's fair. And hopefully YouTube understands. I do not want credit for any of these songs. The entire point of this is to give credit to the artists. Thank you, YouTube, for being so understanding as you've always been whenever I play things on here. Let's see what we got for 21 Pilots. We'll do that. New stuff. Didn't think I had to prepare anything for the Downies, Dave, but here we are. Here we are doing it. Still not prepared.
If I could turn back time, put that one on, dude. From a couple years back, that's a good one.
It's from quite a few years back. Yes,
that's all good. Nobody will know.
I also haven't seen a lot of these because, yeah, apparently I'm not up to date on anybody's music videos. Here we go. This is one of the top singles.
Welcome back to Trash.
Off to a great start.
Yeah.
Very Chemical Brothers.
Yeah. As an old man, it's nice to hear anything slightly unique on the radio these days. Not to mention the fact that these guys are, like, they're beloved by more of the anime community, but it's because they have for all of their mainstream albums that they've put out, they have this long story going and made up, like, world and everything, character building and weird shit that everybody really digs deep into and makes, like, long blog articles and shit about what they had in mind and what they meant in decoding this. So they, like, put a lot of thought into everything and do so like they're not just talking about love or breakup. They're talking about some weird story that they're making up, and they're doing it in such a unique way, and still it's played as, #1 hits on pop radio stations. So I like them.
I'm pro, there's a little bit of agreement then. I think that these guys are pretty fucking great. I would say they remind me of they're like the Linkin Park of right now, and they should do a fucking album with Redman, that like Jay-Z did with Linkin Park back in the day. That's what I would recommend. They should get in there and they should do some remixes of each other's shit. And
sure.
I would purchase that record too.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, unless you have anything else on albums, Dave, we will move on. Are you good there?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, as we move on, well, before we move on, I gotta say, if you are, whatever, here's Lone Star. I got nothing here. Have you or a loved one been injured by some fuck nuggets, reckless driving, a tumble at your shitty job, or some other form of dumb shit outside of your control? Well, fear not, because today's episode is sponsored by a lawyer. Lone Star Injury Attorneys is an award-winning personal injury law firm that achieves maximum results for its injured clients. Max the Axe is not just a lawyer, but a hardcore Mises Caucus libertarian and also a big supporter of this show and all of our bullshit. Max is the best personal injury lawyer in Texas, but don't judge him by his occupation or location. Max is an avid defender of liberty and justice in whatever state you got fucked in. If you've been injured and your ass needs saving, go with the pros at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or Google Max the Axe. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Once again, go to LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered. Nope. All right, there's the button. Welcome back. I was looking for something. My wife reminded me that my son and I made a song, and we've been meaning to premiere it at some point. And it would have been a great time to throw that out there, but I don't have it on this hard drive, so I'm not going to be able to find it during this. Be on the lookout for that. It's coming real soon. We've got a music video shot and everything for it, and we're going to be doing more stuff in the new year. Now, more fake super chats. Cuckocracy, his God-given birth name, says, fake super chat, best podcast couple ever. Smotz Dave, 28.
Nazi fags.
And I don't take compliments well, I'm sorry. Let's see. What else we got here? Judah and the Lion is amazing, says Hannah Forseen. Got to see them live. Fantastic. Very nice, very nice. All right. Let me see. Antifa the band from Sim Calpin. Yeah. When the black and red aesthetic, because the black and red aesthetic works so well, it doesn't really matter what the ideology is behind it. It just matters that it looks nice. Be it 21 Pilots or Antifa or anybody else in history who had amazing fashion sense. Now, moving on. Movies. Dave, you want to do some movies?
Yeah.
You watched one movie that I didn't like this year, right? And that's it? Yeah?
Yep. You know who made it? Disney.
Yeah, shocking.
Nazi fags.
I mean, never more applicable than there, but
Sure.
Tell me, Dave, why I'm wrong. Tell me. I mean, this movie is on my positives list. It didn't make the negative list or anything, so I'm not like a hater, but you telling me you didn't watch a single movie that was better than Deadpool versus Wolverine this year?
No, this is the best movie that came out this year. That's why it made $1 billion. Did the movie that you voted make $1 billion? What'd the market say about your favorite movie?
I think it did. Well, it made a lot. We'll get to it.
Avatar 3 sucked, bro. Sorry.
Okay.
You loved it.
I'm not going to spoil it, no matter how much you want me to. But my favorite movie of the year did break records for its box office. We'll just say that.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was admittedly easy to please this year, man. Movies, there used to be 5 or 6, 7 great movies that came out in the movie theater every year that weren't even based on an existing franchise. That used to be the way, but that's not the way that it goes anymore. You get a franchise and you get something that's been recycled for generation to generation. So in the midst of all the wokeness and the shitty just DEI hires, Disney is guilty of that more than anybody else. It was nice that they made a movie that was, I don't know, geared toward, old men like me, dude. And they made it rated R, and they didn't have any kind of woke bullshit in it, and they just let it kind of exist
made
on
Disney
its own.
jokes for 2.5 hours straight.
But that's what you get for a popcorn flick.
Yes.
So this is not like, as Francis Ford Coppola would say or whatever. This is not like peak cinema.
Sure.
And I fully
it's a roller
fully
coaster.
recognize that. Exactly. But
It's sugar.
Exactly. Yeah. But like when you're trying to take a time out from like reality and just like enter that world for a little bit, that's okay. And it definitely did that for me. And Wolverine, I mean, God, that guy's been doing that for so much longer than anybody else's.
So much longer than he ever should have. Yes.
Oh my God. But it is kind of crazy that people, like 25 years of like playing a character. But for that guy, even like he wanted, I think he shied away from that. He certainly shied away from like yellow spandex for a lot of time because he's like, a cinema guy.
Yeah.
But at this point in his career, would even tell you like that role allowed him to do every other thing that he did.
Sure. Yeah.
So he's even got like a lot of gratitude, and it's just kind of like a nice like time of like culmination. Like hopefully he'll get to do some other shit. Though he might play Wolverine for another 20 years. I don't fucking know, dude. But I certainly appreciated it. I think Ryan Reynolds, more than anybody, really respects the source material.
You know what that movie reminds me of, Dave?
What?
Matrix 4. But with a plan. Like the Matrix 4 was like, it sucked, but they were like, if we're gonna do another one, we're gonna force these people back into it, and then we're gonna poke fun at ourselves the entire time because we don't necessarily want this to happen. This, I mean, it's more obvious that they wanted it to happen than that they didn't, but it was clearly a cash grab. It was a cash grab in bringing Hugh Jackman back, and it was a delicate balance to put a rated R Disney Deadpool movie out at all. So good on them for doing it. I think that they knew that if they put out the PG-13 Deadpool and kept Ryan Reynolds, or even if they didn't keep Ryan Reynolds, it would face a whole lot of backlash. So they're like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna bring back every single bit of nostalgia that we possibly can, give the fans everything that they want. If this movie had come out during the Marvel heyday, I would have probably loved it, or liked it at least a whole lot more than I did. There was something about it being like, oh, a breath of fresh air, because they actually gave us some jokes that are funny and some edge and interesting story and all that stuff. But there's something about it being now where it's like, you're only doing it because everybody hated you trying to force all this woke DEI bullshit for the last 5 years, and now you're like, okay, give the fans what they want, and we're even gonna we've been fun the whole time because we're making fun of ourselves now and everything. It's like, yeah, but you were the guys calling us all racist and misogynist 6 months ago, not even 3 months ago, when the last thing you put out failed. So now I'm supposed to just be like, okay, you brought it back and you gave me a bunch of sugar, so yum yum yum, eat it up and go to bed happy.
It's not like they're Bud Light. They didn't fucking bring in Dylan Mulvaney.
No, they did much more. They did movie after movie after TV show. Dylan Mulvaney was in one Bud Light ad, and we spent 6 months talking about that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's a sliding scale here. And Disney put out, they literally changed all of their characters to either black or female. And while that sucks, it's not the same as pushing the transgender ideology upon a
You telling me Disney wasn't pushing the transgender ideology, Dave?
On the Marvel, bro, I'm not watching I don't know what Disney cartoons are coming out. I'm watching the Marvel comic book shit. And yeah, there's no trans people in that shit up till right now. There's no trans people.
What is now? I don't even know. So
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there's no trans characters
to this point. Yes.
Hero. That would be a fucking deal breaker. Disney Plus, listen to me right now.
Sure.
When you
we'll
put
see.
out the, when you
We'll
put out
see.
the
He'll
tranny
still
hero-
eat it. He doesn't care. He watched
the tranny
Agatha.
superhero show
He's
was
a
not that
whore.
good.
He's a whore. He watched Agatha. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I am. That is truly a weak spot. The Disney shit. Like, I should give up the fucking. What an awful company.
I don't really care.
Shit.
But you've given me nothing else to work with, Dave. You've given me nothing else to work with other than ragging on you for Disney.
That's the only people who have put out the content I've consumed that was any worth it. No, Fallout. That's Amazon. So a couple of multi-billion-dollar corporations putting out the majority of the good shit.
Now, Dave. So you watched other things, right? There were other movies that weren't made by Disney that you watched?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure, but probably not that came out in 2024. That's the thing. No, like what came out this year that was good? I don't know, bro. I didn't watch Dune 2. I heard that was pretty good. I didn't watch it.
I haven't yet. That's on my to-watch list, but yeah. I forgot to put it on my to-watch list. Dune.
Your twatch?
To watch list. Yes.
Put it on my twatch list.
My to-watch list. All right. I've got a little bit more of a list here. I thought that I didn't until last night. I was scrolling through the movies that came out, and I was like, oh, I did see those. So just 2 days ago, I watched Red 1. Have you heard of Red 1, Dave?
Yeah, and this is, again, like a movie that I was like, oh, it's got everybody who makes big movies in it, and like I couldn't be bothered to watch it. Even during the holidays, I'd rather watch Christmas Vacation for the 13th time. Was it good? Tell
Understandable.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more than the internet seemed to. Like, yes, it was ridiculously over the top, and I guess they spent like $250 million, like the GDP of a medium-sized country, on an okay movie. It was an action Christmas flick.
Money. That's how they launder money. And that's how Netflix launders money. They make a movie with The Rock and Chris Evans. And
probably, but I will say it was way too long and had way too many special effects that it could have easily broken 250 million if it were a Lord of the Rings movie and they said it was up there in that range. I'd be like, okay, this has similar amounts of effects. It's really over the frickin' top. We've got like the Christmas witch and Krampus and bringing all sorts of Christmas lore. I enjoyed the oh, you're a level 4 naughty lister and shit. Like, it's like this action movie, but it's got Christmas elements. It was kitschy and stupid, but kind of hilarious and enjoyable. A little bit too long, and you could have easily shaved a couple dozen $1 million off there if you made it the amount of movie that it should have been. But I half recommend it. If you've got your Christmas movies, it's not one that you have to add to the list. But if you want something weird and action-y that's fun for teenage kids and won't make an adult want to blow their brains out, which is hard to find most days, but I would say it's worth a view. And mostly family-friendly, at least for, teenage and up. So, yeah. There's that one. It was The Rock being The Rock if The Rock were an elf who looked exactly like The Rock. So, Hollywood.
I mostly find him pretty. I don't know, man. Does he make? I don't think he makes that good movies. I think he might be the highest paid guy out there, but
I couldn't
his
tell.
Movies tend to
not a
suck.
single movie that has ever made my top to watch list. The Rock has never made the list in any way, and wouldn't have made this list if I didn't have, let's see, six tops. So it's down there, and I only watched maybe 7 total. So, yeah, it's fine. The Rock is definitely not going to get me up in the morning, but yeah, if you're into that sort of thing.
Next Christmas, maybe I'll take that one for a test drive.
Yeah, we'll see. If Disney doesn't put out anything new and gay.
They will.
Right above red one on my list, you'll never believe it, Dave. It's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh.
It's on my positive list. And again, it was fine. I watched it on the airplane ride to your house, or back from your house. I think I watched Deadpool 2 on the way to your house, and Deadpool 3 on the flight back. And it worked just fine at keeping me awake and, passing the time while I was on an airplane. And that is my review of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Definitely a movie.
Now, A Quiet Place Day 1 also came out this year. Did you happen to catch that one, Dave, or too scary?
No, saw the first one, though. That was enjoyable, I guess.
Okay. Not the second one?
Nah.
All right.
Didn't have... No. Didn't, honestly, heard that it was coming out, didn't even know it was.
Well, this is the third one, so...
I thought they were on number 2.
They did A Quiet Place 1 and 2. This is Quiet Place Day 1, which
Is John
focuses...
Krasinski still involved with all these?
I think this is I think they're doing kind of like... I'm going to make a horror movie reference that you're not going to understand either, but like The Conjuring, how they have like The Nun and these other like separate people doing things in the same universe. I think this is kind of like that, which I liked. It was done extremely well, and yeah, it was not. If you're really into A Quiet Place 1 and 2, you will either love it or hate it because it's not that related to A Quiet Place 1 and 2, other than that they exist in the same universe. But the story is a great standalone story, and you don't even have to know that the first 2 movies exist, in my opinion, to enjoy this movie if you're into, drama and action, spookiness, or whatever. Above that on my list, coming in at number 3, is Joker 2 Folie à Deux. Now, so you haven't even watched it, right, Dave?
No.
But you watched the first one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Typical, all around typical. You should start a YouTube channel about the movies that you like and hate, because I feel like you'd fit in with a lot of the people who are like, fuck that movie. I'm not even watching. You don't even have to watch it. You can just rant about how you're not watching it because you heard something sucked about it. I recommend Joker 2. Again, It does not have any reason to exist, but as long as it does, I am fine with it. Yes, there are some things that might make you less, the feelings that you had for Arthur Fleck at the end of the first one, you might feel like they undid a few things, but I do think it's another one where the internet is much more upset about it than need be, because they didn't spend the money to make the movie, somebody else did. And if you don't like it, don't watch it, but I like it. I think it's a nice, slight continuation. I really want, as I said after I did a review on the first Joker, and pretty sure I ended it with, they could do another one, and I'm excited to see it, but I really hope they don't. I really hope they don't go for 3, and I don't think that they will. But yeah, it almost feels like Joker 1.5. Like the whole thing exists within like a couple months after the first one, and it barely matters to the first one or adds all that much, but I think it's fine on its own. Did you ever watch Lion King 2.5 or 1.5 or whatever it was, Dave? You know how, you remember, you've seen it, it's on Disney, how Lion King was great and all, and then they stuck that other one in there because they're like, kids need more Lion King, but we can't give it a whole new number, so we'll just ham-fistedly shoehorn this in there. It's like that. This is the Lion King 1.5 for the Joker series, which the Joker was a timeless gem of its own that existed in a time where the media was horrified and enraged that this was going to cause like mass shootings and stuff. And then the Joker 2 comes out, and the internet hates it, and the critics hate it, and everybody hates it, except me. I think it's okay, and it's fine. That's my review of the Joker 2. And the soundtrack is good, or I enjoy it at least.
There you have it.
Dave's like, I don't
the
fucking
Joker
care
2, the movie and the soundtrack are both stellar.
I got to get back to What If on Marvel. I'm on episode 237.
Yeah, literally, you gotta do that. That's what you gotta do instead.
Yeah, probably. I don't think we've read this. Sim Calpin says, fake super chat. List of bands Too Dark for Dave, Yellow Card, Johnny Cash, Newsboys, and My Chemical Romance. I have had all of those on my top lists for the year at some point in my life. I mean, you have to go way back for Newsboys, but God bless you for having any idea who that is, because I'm sure Dave does not.
We toured with My Chemical Romance, nigga. So
shut up. Shut up, Dave. Just shut up. Just shut up. Shut up, Dave.
Guyliner and everything. Fucking was crushing it.
All right, let's see. I think we had another fake super chat here. Oh, fake super chat from Muddy Waters Media. Nosferatu was amazing, and I'm gonna say, even I've got 2 more on my mains list. I'm gonna say, if I had gotten around to seeing Nosferatu, which just came out 4 days ago, I would be willing to put money on the fact that it would have been my number 1, because I'm really excited to see it, and I've heard really good things, and the guy who made it, and the guy who acted it, and the cast, and everything about it seems like a win for me and my psychotic brain as Dave watches Marvel Friends or whatever.
Sugar. What's Nosferatu? I've seen that name around quite a bit. What's that about?
It is a remake, but it is a remake from like a 1950s movie that like I don't know the entire story, but Dracula was a thing, and they wanted to like adapt Dracula for film and stuff. So correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chats, but probably my wife. But it was they wanted to like adapt this for film, and then they wrote kind of like a Dracula ripoff, and then they made that for film, and so it has like a cult following from way back in the early days of film. And for me, if you're gonna remake something, that's where you go, not Moana 2, the remake. I think they're doing the Disney's Moana 2, I believe, just came out, and they're also doing the live action remake at the same time with The Rock playing the same character. That's where we're at. Like, that's how completely vapid and devoid of any creative elements we are. So, horror movie reboots I typically like more than most to begin with. If they're recent reboots or remakes, I'm less enthusiastic for cash grabs, but this isn't really a cash grab because it is a property that has been kind of dead for as long as I've been alive, and I'm very okay with them giving that a a makeover, especially with the guy. It's the guy who did, I don't remember his name, but he did like The Lighthouse and I think Midsummer, other movies that would make you like want to blow your brains out, Dave, that are me and my wife's jam. So we're going to watch that one. Speaking of that type of movie, Dave, I'm going to recommend my number 2 movie to you. I would be interested in getting your review of the movie Heretic, because we watched that this year, and it is, oh, my wife is telling me it came out in 1920, the original Nosferatu. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine to reboot that one. Rob Eggers. All right. Got it. Thank you for, yes, 3 Rob Eggers in a row. Now, Heretic is a movie that came out this year, and this movie, the premise is basically there's 2 girls that are with they're Jehovah's Witnesses, Church of Latter-day Saints or whatever. They knock on this guy's door, and they want to tell him about Jesus and all that, and it's kind of a horror movie and kind of a psychological movie and kind of just a fucking debate about spirituality. And there's something to it that I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. There's not a lot of great. It presents itself as a horror movie. I don't think it is. I think it's more of a real thinker, and it kind of just tells you it's this guy ends up arguing with these girls and putting them through some things that make them question their faith, and it's not just like flowery, happy, everything is great ending either, and I like it. I like it a lot. You might want to die after, but I would like, let's do movie night this year, Dave. Let's actually get that started, and I'll bring one sometimes and
by the way,
make you sit through it.
By the way, I can get down with a good psychological thriller.
Sure.
But what I don't need is excessive gore for the sake of just that shit.
Gratuitous violence, Dave?
Yeah, I don't fucking need it, bro.
Yeah.
Get enough of that from Twitter.
I mean, Disney R makes me uncomfortable enough. Let's
yes, slow the fuck down. If somebody's gonna get stabbed in the face, I need to know that they're coming back to life.
That's right, and they always are. I need to know that there are 0 stakes, otherwise I get too emotional.
It's funny because it's true, bro.
Well, you might enjoy this movie then.
Yeah.
Just know at the end of this not horror movie, everybody's fine, Dave. We'll say everybody's fine in the end.
God, I need the message at the end. Nobody was
Everybody's great.
In this movie. Everybody's fine. No animals. Everybody's good. Don't freak out.
Yes. So check out Heretic, everybody, and maybe even Dave.
Maybe
now, my number 1 movie of the year, Dave, I can certainly recommend to you and whoever is a decent human. As I said, it was it may not have broken any Marvel records, but it did break records in its field. Do you have any guesses what it might be, Dave?
Oh, is it Oppenheimer?
No, I didn't watch that shit.
Also, you didn't watch
that came out last year.
I did. See, bro, I don't know. It's got to have big special effects in it, right? If it made a lot of money.
Nope.
No? Wow. No, bro, I don't know. It'll probably come to me, like, oh, of course.
It's a documentary.
And it made a shit ton of money?
Most money a documentary has ever made.
Stop it. And it came out this year? Was it released in theaters?
Yep. I watched it in theaters. It was the only movie I saw in theaters this year.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. Am I racist?
That's right. Yay. Yes. I actually watched that with my son the other day, and it's a good one.
Was he racist?
Turns out we all are, Dave. I don't mean to spoil the ending, but yes. Have you had a chance? I assume not. If it took you that long to get to it. What?
Yeah. If it's rated R, I don't know. Yeah.
It's not rated R, Dave.
I'm just kidding. I want to see it.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Don't give me any shit. I want to watch it. Yeah, it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Listen, if there's anybody racist in there, I don't want to watch it.
Now, I have talked about this obviously on the show before too. A controversial documentary for its subject matter, obviously. But just from a documentary filmmaking standpoint, it is absolutely incredible. It is hilarious. It is modern day Sacha Baron Cohen, but even more edgy because Sacha Baron Cohen went all sellout and appeased the masses as well. This asks a lot of great questions, and it doesn't shoehorn in. It doesn't like force like, no, you're not a racist and these people are crazy. It really just, all Matt Walsh did was took these influencers in the anti-racist field and went in disguise and paid them money to come in and talk to him. And his disguise is literally just a wig, and otherwise he's just Matt Walsh. And they fell for it, and they took the money. They got paid. He did nothing deceptive other than not tell them that he is Daily Wire conservative influencer Matt Walsh. And they kind of just wrote the rest for him, and it's beautiful to watch. And I believe, if what I heard was correct, it was something like all of the people that, all of the interviewees, all of the influencers that appeared on this documentary, they all deleted their Twitter account the day that the movie came out, because they realized what was going on. But yeah, it's fun to watch people who make, like, just bankroll division and angst and anger and racism, people who make their entire living off that and who have been doing great financially for the last forever. It's nice to watch them, have to explain it a little bit and realize that they can't. They don't have a whole lot that isn't racist to explain the racism. And yeah, without spoiling too much, I mean, you can already surmise where it goes. It's a lot of dog shit from dog shit people, and it's funny. All in all, it is fucking hilarious, and I recommend that everybody watch it. And if you're afraid to watch it, let me know why, because I know it's a scary, scary documentary that people are afraid to watch, but why? What is wrong with it? Just because you don't like Matt Walsh? Because he's just asking them questions that any reasonable, sane person should ask them before they get to celebrity status in the anti-racist, career that they've created in writing books and stuff. You should have been able to answer all these very simple questions long before you wrote your first book. So, yeah, go watch it. Whether you like it or not, just go watch it and report back after. But that's my number one movie of the year, because I did not watch Nosferatu, but I do think that it would have kicked it out.
I'm gonna watch that one. Can I still only watch that at dailywire.com, or can you,
Dave? If you know where to look, you can watch anything you want, Dave.
What are you doing? Pirating movies out there?
No,
bro?
Dave, I would never do that. Fuck. What is this? 2001? What is this? Y2K, Dave?
Listen, you can
I'm getting them from LimeWire.
Yeah, your LimeWires and your Napsters, you can keep it, bro.
That's right. We'll talk after. Now,
Thank you.
Did you have any movies that you watched that were just like woke stinkers or just dog shit that you feel like you wasted all your time? Because I have one that stands out that I have to talk about.
You know what sucked this year that came out this year is the Civil War movie. That was not good. It was about...
Oh, I watched that this year too. Yeah.
Yeah. It was not... It could have been awesome. It had like
trash.
the ingredients to be awesome, and it was total trash. It was about a girl's journey to become like a writer during the Civil fucking war.
During the apocalypse. Yes.
Ugh,
like
trash.
The world is gone. The internet is all but gone. There's no electricity. But now is the time to start my journalistic career. And I'm going to do... You're right. I was excited about the movie. I thought it had a lot of potential, especially the premise. And there's a lot that you could have done with it. And it was just the story of some journalists bitching at each other about what journalism is or isn't. 3 journalists on a road trip to D.C. to find the president in the apocalypse or the Civil War or whatever. And spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the end of Civil War, we have to talk about it at least briefly, because that is the most angering part. Okay. If you don't want to hear it, it's on you now. At the end of Civil War, they find the president. Do you want to explain what happens, Dave?
Do you remember? No, you do it. No, because
Okay.
I'm trying to think what happened to the president at the
They
end.
get to the White House, they find the president, and then there's like the press secretary comes out to talk to the rogue military or whatever that's going to kill the president, while these journalists are also going to find the president to interview him for the story of the century, for the internet that doesn't exist and the newspapers that don't exist. and they're about this military is about to kill the president, and then the journalists go in and they're like, wait, we need to ask him something, and they go and ask him. It's literally like, I don't even remember the fucking question. It was something as simple as like, do you regret it or something? And he's like, yes. And then they kill him, or they're like, we've heard enough, and then they kill him. So there's these journalists that have been going to get this story, like, and they've been dodging bullets in the most unrealistic fashion for the last 2 hours, like standing in the middle of the road in a firefight, like a teen holding a camera, just standing there taking pictures. It's so over the top stupid. And then the ending of it is, well, good enough for us. We did almost die 20 times, and one of our people did die, or two of our people did die in this process. But, you know, we got the quote of yes, and so now we can go back to the apocalypse. It's the least payoff I've seen in a movie this year, except for the one that I'm about to talk about. But any more thoughts on what else on Civil War, Dave?
Yeah, I hated the whole tone. It was, like you said, there was like 3 or 4 reporters, and they were pretty much the protagonists throughout it. And the whole pretense was that just like, oh, they're like, it had so much reverence for the press, and it ignores and pretends that the corporate press mentality of just, you know, screw people over and tell lies on behalf of the regime
is just journalists with cameras in the apocalypse.
It was absent of that. And these are the only people standing between us and total chaos, were these couple people trying to get the story
failed
out.
miserably.
So fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's bad. 10/10 would not recommend. Well, maybe 8/10 would not recommend. It had a lot of potential, and it squandered every single bit of it. Now, for my worst movie of the year, have you heard of the movie Conclave, Dave?
No.
Okay. This is a movie that's presents itself as an artsy-fartsy, pretentious thing about the Catholic Church, which I would enjoy if there was a point. And there was a point, unfortunately. But we're going to watch a little bit of the trailer since you're not even familiar with this. But this isn't like my top type of movie, but it does seem like, oh, they've got something going there. My wife and I were, I think it was while we were actually in the theater to see Am I a Racist? This played in the previews, and we were both like, that looks good. We'll go see that. We didn't go to see it. We did watch it, and I'm really glad we didn't go to see it. But here's that.
The
Beautifully
Pope
shot.
is dead. The throne is vacant.
Also, I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie in just a second, so if you don't hear that, bail.
What happened? They say a heart attack.
You know how rumor spreads, and 1.25 billion souls watching.
Well done, no, Lawrence. It seems the responsibility for the conclave falls upon you. The supervision of this election is a duty I never thought I'd have to perform. They are sequestered, and they must be shielded from all news that may influence their judgment. You understand?
So you get the point. There's the Pope is dead, and they're all the bishops and, you know, the Catholic Jedi or whatever Jedi Council come together, and they need to find a new pope. They need to go through all the rigmarole of the Catholic politics and vote on who the next pope will be. And fun premise, interesting premise. The Pope's dead. How does that work? Let's go. Let's get some drama and all that shit. Again, beautifully shot. Very pretty movie. Very pretty movie. Now, at the beginning of this movie, oh man, I'm gonna break this movie down for you so fast. So if you don't want the spoilers, leave. Go. Okay. Now, at the beginning of this movie, when they're all getting together, there's this new pope or this new bishop that comes in, and or cardinal or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know. New guy. When they're all getting together, the guy from the leader from Afghanistan is also there, and they're a little bit judgmental toward him, and they're like, "Oh, that's that guy from Afghanistan." They're like, "Well, we should give him a chance." All right, moved on. Just leave that alone. You forget about that guy for the entire movie. John Lithgow and a couple others are like fighting over who's going to be the best white pope, and the main guy is like, "Oh, the church needs to let women do it, and pushing for progressiveness over the conservative popes that are like, no, we need to stick to tradition. Of course, they're the bad guys. But that's not super over the top yet in the wokeness until like the end, until the very end when they're like one by one, the white guys are picking each other off because they're just bickering amongst each other and exposing each other's corruption and all that stuff. Then it gets down to the final vote, and when they're about to read it, there's an explosion, and somebody bombed. There was a car bomb or something that went off outside the church and disrupted the process, and they're like, and they leave, and then they come back. They come back later to finish the process, and they're all sitting around, and they're dusty, and still dusty from the explosion that I would imagine happened multiple hours ago. And they're having their conversation. They're arguing over who it should or shouldn't be. Clearly, there's no clear choice anymore, except for the main protagonist, liberal white guy, who's been like, I don't want it this entire time, but it's getting down to the wire. And they're like, well, it's going to have to be you, whether you want it or not. And we don't even trust that you didn't want it from the beginning. He's like, no, I never wanted it. I just wanted, I don't know, liberal-topia or something. And then while they're bickering and saying that they need to hurt the enemy and attack the enemy, who would you guess comes back but the Afghanistan bishop, cardinal, whatever guy, and he stands up and says, what do you know about war? And he gives a 15 to 30 second, very like juvenile speech about how you don't get it because I've lived through it and you just don't get it. I've been there. And we need to love people instead of hating people. And they're like, oh. And then they all vote in favor of the Afghanistan guy to be the new pope. And then, just when you think it's over, they're like, but wait, there's more. He's got a uterus. Huh? Yay. Uterus Afghani tranny pope is what they went with at the end. And now they didn't make it like, oh, he's a trans pope. It was like, oh, he was born with a uterus and had thought about having it surgically removed. And I think they're like, so who am I to go against God's design or something, some whatever. And it's like, oh, I've never thought about it that way, except that there's zero chance in a million years that this is how this works out. It's so unbelievably unbelievable that it made my head hurt, because it's like, after all these white guys are like, no, this is the way it's always been, then all those white guys, based off of a 12-second monologue by a 12-year-old Afghani tranny, they're like, no, we gotta, all that stuff that we were completely against before, we're in now. And then it's like, but wait, uterus. And I feel like they wanted to go full on, this person used to be a woman, but instead they went with, this person was born in such a way, and see, you people who didn't think a woman could do it, there's been a uterus pope the whole time, just in the wings. It is the most ridiculously over-the-top woke shit that I've seen since Dylan Mulvaney and Bud Light. I would say it's worse, because it doesn't present itself. It's a fucking trap, even worse than trans people are. It's a trap, because it's like, no, this is gonna be a thought-provoking, very artistic and artsy thing, and then it's just like, no, woke, wrap it up, call it a day, and moving on. I don't know, like, it would have made more sense if they started it out with, what if a transgender pope got the nomination? And I mean, I might have watched that too, because that sounds entertaining. Drag queen pope, let's go for it. Give it the right director, some sort of comedy director, and not make it super serious. But it was just they couldn't even own their wokeness. They had to be like, see, there are anomalies that even we don't understand. So who are you to judge all of the rest of the, 100% that aren't this type of case? Sorry, Dave. I meant to do a review on this, so I didn't have to force in my entire rant into our end of the year. But, that's what we're here for.
No, that's cool. That sounds like a good story, actually.
was
I'm
great.
not gonna go. I'm not gonna go watch it now because I know the whole
It's not on
story.
Disney, so it's not going to be woke enough for Dave.
That sounds like it's actually right up Disney's alley. I'm surprised.
Like,
but yeah,
I don't even care if you want to give me like an artistic story about a transgender person that is realistic, but it was just so gay. It was so fake and such a trap to be like, it's about conservative Catholicism and how they deal with politics. And then at the end, it's like, they don't. They just force in this thing. And you're supposed to just be like, oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful because it is a person from Afghanistan who also has a uterus. I am supposed to feel something from that isn't annoyance. I'm supposed to feel like a person in that situation obviously understands love and compassion better than any of these fucking white dudes do. And no, I don't buy it.
But you sat through the whole thing. That's how they get you.
I did.
They can't tell you in the beginning that it's about.
I will give them props. Yes, I will give them props for it being the most passing for a good film. Like if this were intended to be a good film and it was transitioning into a bad film, it's passing as a good film still. So good on you. Okay, so that's Conclave, and I do need to start just hitting record and doing more, giving the Downers Club more bonus, because I used to do stuff like just ranting about movies that I fucking hated, and that's some easy shit right there, clearly, because I'm pretty sure that was a 20-minute thing that's going to get me canceled. Now, movies that I want to see and haven't seen, Nosferatu, I mentioned, Beetlejuice, I will absolutely watch, whether it's crap or not.
We just watched that, and it definitely didn't make my...
Wow, Dave, you only had one thing on your list, and it still didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one that, like, it reminded me of Dumb and Dumber 2, because...
Great movie, like, yes. Go on.
Enough time passes where, like, you know, Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, they get to do all the things that come out of doing Dumb and Dumber, and they don't, like, waste that juice doing, like, an immediate sequel. But 20 years later or whatever... In Beetlejuice's case, we're looking at like almost 40 years. That's
sure.
Crazy. But it just, you know, you used the word money grab earlier. Like and it's cool. Michael Keaton is like in his 70s and
it's still great.
And still, yeah, again, he got to play Batman last year. That's all good. I'm not going to hate on that because I like nostalgia and superhero movies, basically. But no, this felt like they just brought it back, and it was kind of like, you know, like when they hire comedians to do like corporate shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got them there, and like it's kind of the same, but like it just feels like you're doing a show because you got a big paycheck.
So
it definitely
like,
felt like
you mean
that.
like Deadpool versus Wolverine?
For me, there was more respect. No, I mean, like if you want to make that comparison, no. And this is somebody who really enjoys both of those properties. There way more care and respect went into Deadpool and Wolverine than went into Beetlejuice. I will say that.
I
right
do
now.
see that as a possibility that you are correct. I haven't seen this movie yet. I will watch it. I'll let you know. Like even with Joker 2, I knew that everybody hated it going into it, and I tried to just be like, okay, what do I actually fucking think about this movie? And I'm not trying to be contrarian. I actually enjoyed the movie. If I enjoy it, I'll let you know. If I don't enjoy it, I'll let you know. But yeah, I mostly expect what you're saying to be true because that's kind of what I expected anyway. It's just nostalgia bait, and you know. Is it a fun time, though? Is it worth a watch?
I'll say that. You know, like,
does it make you angry?
No, I didn't. No, it didn't piss me off. Like, why? But it was unnecessary. You didn't need to do it. It definitely didn't improve on the original. But it's okay. It was cool. It's like cool to see those guys again. Some of them, anyway. Yeah, and it's okay. Like, it's cool to see Winona Ryder with Michael Keaton. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
It's fine. You know. I mean, we're making a Harry Potter TV series at this point, and Lord of the Rings TV series that flops and sucks, and from what I hear, you know, I don't know. It's par for the course. If you're going to remake something, at least remake stuff decently within the realm of, I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll let you know, but I can't really say much more than that at this point. But Dune 2 is also on my to-watch list that you mentioned earlier. The first one was a beautiful, long, slow burn that I enjoy. Have only watched twice, but would happily watch the second one of. And probably most people that I watch it with will be bored. meaning my children.
The dude I work with said that Dune 2 was the best movie he's ever seen in IMAX.
Okay,
So I don't know
I
if
can
that
see
will
that.
take away. I don't know if it'll take away from the home.
That's kind of
experience, but
that's kind of how I felt about the first one, because I did see that in theaters, and I was like, wow, I don't know if this can possibly translate to this magnitude on the small screen, because a lot of it is just the spectacle of what they did with the effects and everything. Yeah, I'm into it. And even the sound design. I don't have a home theater sound system or anything, so we'll see. I'm sure if I was the guy who made it, I would hate myself for watching it in the way that I'm inevitably going to end up watching it, but I will still give it the chance. The Crow, there's a remake of that, keeping in line with things that Dave will hate, that are reboots that I will probably like.
I can't do that. That's the kind of thing that I won't watch simply out of... No, I'm not going to give you... You shouldn't be fucking with that.
Taint me, Dave. Go ahead.
No, not you. The studio that's just exploited. Like they've tried so many times, and I don't know what to tell you, but like they fucked that up at least 3 or 4 times now, and that sucks. Like the original.
I will say
one
that
was
if
so
I
good.
was paying attention and watched the original, at least when it came out, or at all, let's say, I would be less enthusiastic for the new one. But there's a part of me that's like, I'm happy to go back and watch the classics that I missed that you always rag on me for not having watched. But there's also a part of me that's like, I want to see, like, I want to listen to the Beatles. If I'm listening to a Beatles album for the first time and somebody just like revamped the audio quality, I want to hear it now for some reason.
So wait, you
and
haven't
also
seen
the old
original?
I've
Crow.
not seen the original.
Yeah.
No.
Watch that one for it. This is the 30-year anniversary of that movie. And
Okay.
just you were talking about soundtracks earlier. Go get the soundtrack tonight. Like download the soundtrack. The Crow, The Cure, 9 Inch Nails, Machines of Loving Grace. This is like a gothic industrial.
I guarantee you, my wife is listening right now, and she's going to make me watch The Crow.
Yes,
within
watch
the
The
next 24
Crow.
hours.
This is a fantastic movie. Yeah, and guaranteed she's seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should check that one out, and then go compare it with the new one, and I'd be interested to hear your comparison.
Yes, I also have M. Night Shyamalan did like 3 or had a hand in 3 movies this year, and I haven't seen any of them. I don't remember the names of them. Go look him up. But everything he does, I'm going to watch eventually. He did a team-up project with his daughter also, which is cool. It's like one of her first movies or something. But always something creative, even if it absolutely sucks. I'm going to watch everything that man puts out. And he's done a whole lot that sucks and a whole lot that's amazing. But Muddied Waters Media says fake super chat. Dave would have hated it. At this point, I don't know what we're talking about, but
it's probable though. That's just a good blanket statement.
Most likely, just safe to assume Dave would have hated it. Let's see. Any other fake super chats? Let's see. Sim Calpin says, "Am I a racist? Was better than I expected." Yes, and it was better than I expected too, and I expected it to be good. Because, for whatever you think about the Daily Wire these days, Matt Walsh makes a mean documentary, and I mean that in all the ways. Sim Kaplan also says, fake super chat, actors too dark for Dave, Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, Will Smith, and Robert Downey Jr. No, some of those are in Marvel movies, so they're fine sometimes. Let's see. We are way behind on chats. Sorry, y'all. No one at all says fake super chat. This is happening tonight. I got you, Dave. So
you're gonna watch The Crow. It'll be fun.
See if you can figure out who the anonymous account there is. Now, podcasts. We're moving on to podcasts. We're gonna get it in. Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope that you've listened to at least a few podcasts this year outside of the best one, which is Dave versus Goliath.
Of course, you can get
all
the
3 episodes
we did in 2024. They were bangers. Don't fuck around if they're not going to be great. Yep.
So, what'd you listen to? Are you, when you're out and about and just, working or doing whatever, are you more of a podcast listener, a music listener, or do you bounce back and forth?
I'm doing less driving these days because the job is fully remote. But
Nice.
when I was doing a mix mostly between music is definitely taking a backseat over the past like 5 or 6 years. but a mix.
I feel
between...
like I alternate every other year. I listen to a shit ton of, or like every other 6 months, I listen to a shit ton of podcasts. Then I like run myself out, and then I listen to entertainment or just like music and stuff to cleanse, and then I get back to that. So you can probably tell if you like have watched the show for a year or two. There are dips in where I'm up to date on things, and there are peaks where I'm up to date on things. Probably during the dips, I'm listening to music.
Yeah, I've been mixing it up between Audible, like the audiobooks, and
nice,
and podcasts. But yeah, that's me, and I don't get a whole lot of that anymore. But you were talking about like specific podcast episodes, not just like shows.
I was talking about shows. Like, it doesn't have to be like a new podcast show that came out, but what shows are in your regular rotation at this point, or if there's any specific episodes that you want to throw out there, feel free.
Yeah, more are falling off than coming on.
Seems that way for me too.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. You know, Dave Smith is still the only like really regular podcast that I, try and keep up with. But, and even, to his credit, the other podcasts that I go out and like, when he was on Patrick Bet David, for the election, like that was pretty historic. I think more people were watching that.
I almost said New Year's, and then I was thinking Christmas. I was like, what was that for? Oh, election. Very similar to Christmas.
Party past midnight. What was
the
that?
first of the holiday season? Yeah.
And that guy's crushing it right now. Like I don't particularly. I heard just some quick Twitter video today. Like I don't know exactly how accurate this is, or like even if there's anything like objectionable behind it. But apparently that dude, Patrick Bet David, like his history is like in multi-tier marketing. Like he gets 5 people to sign up for the thing, who gets 5 people to sign up.
You mean in valuetainment?
Yeah, like they would never, like I think they sold insurance and other things and crap. And at some point, like when he started to get popular with that, like kind of parlayed that into like he took interviews that he paid for via like people investing in this company. Like he would get some big interview and then he would air it like on the Patrick Bet David network to kind of like boost his own profile. It's like, I'm not going to hate on him for that.
It's good business.
I mean, it seems like, it's a good hustle. He seems like a hustler. And no matter what, I mean, it's preferable to anything that you would see on the corporate press.
Even if Chris Cuomo is there.
Right. And most of me, I believe that he probably hired that guy to be a punching bag for people like Dave Smith and other people to just, what's your other option right now? Corporate
lightning
leftover.
Rod.
Right. Exactly. So I think that's probably why he did that. But that was pretty cool. More people were watching that show than any other show on election night. And Dave Smith was on there for hours, like really scathing. I think he knew he was saving some like heat for that show. A lot of millions of people were watching it.
Oh yeah.
And he to a room full of conservatives, like was pretty like, consistent, as he would say. It's a consistent motherfucker. So Dave Smith is still that dude. I'm glad he's out there doing still debates, and it must be tough being a Jew in this climate, because he's like a little bit of a pariah. Yeah, it's got to be rough being the -- entertainment guy
poor
in your
Dave.
particular field.
He's doing so bad.
He's good.
Anyway,
I have a little bit of sympathy. He has a little bit of insulation because he is Jewish, who also accepted Jesus Christ into his heart, I'm pretty sure, but whatever. But he also he has to go and be the Jew who is talking shit, against his own people. So he gets some grief for that. Sure. But somebody's got to do it, and he's doing a pretty good job. So Dave Smith is still the podcast that I listen to most.
Cool. Is that about it?
I was listening to Tim Pool until I heard, I don't even know if it's true. You could probably tell me. Did he sell his outfit to Daily Wire? Did that actually happen?
That is the rumor going around. We'll find out in just a couple of days. There's supposed to be an announcement on the 1st of January, so we'll see. And I do think it's funny that Tim's taken his first big stance against anti-Semitism, and he also has a big announcement coming out January 1st. I don't know. You put the pieces together. I'm not some crazy conspiracy theorist that notices things or anything, but
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I don't know. That might not the. That's. I don't know, man. Like your number one movie of the year came from the Daily Wire, right? But fuck the Daily Wire, though. Like that. Fuck everything that they do. Fuck anybody who works there, because you're all part of the. You're wrong. You're wrong, and you're disruptive and destructive.
Based on what, Dave?
Based on the fuck that they're a Mossad operation. Based on the fucking shit that Ben Shapiro was saying that Ron Paul was an anti-Semitic, Jew hater in 2012. Fuck all those guys. Fuck Andrew Klavan for being the house fucking Christian Negro. Fuck the guy who he could leave right now. Matt Walsh could leave and go be real somewhere else like Candace Owens. But you're all a bunch of fucking pussies. Your whole institution sucks. Funded by God knows what, probably the Adelsons and whoever else. And fuck the Daily Wire, man. I don't know, but they suck. They're the enemy. They're not even close to being good.
Sure. Yeah. I agree that there's a lot of down, and there's also my favorent movie of the year that I've watched so far.
I know. Terrible, right? It's how I feel about Disney, bro. These are evil people that we enjoy their content.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go
full
on evil. Sure.
We'll do it.
I mean, yeah. I want to believe that there's some hope for the world. There's a part of me, the vast majority of myself doesn't care if Tim Pool sells his entire brand to the Daily Wire. I also know that Tim Pool selling his entire brand to the Daily Wire will be very similar to Jordan Peterson selling his entire brand to the Daily Wire, and he will become
insufferable.
It doesn't even have to be insufferable, but just hollowed out to some degree. Hollowed out to some degree when you're like working under somebody else's thing, to where, not that like if they were allowed to say whatever they wanted, or like Ben Shapiro is the one keeping them from speaking out against the Israel-Gaza war or anything like that. I don't know exactly what goes on over there. I just know that Jordan Peterson had a whole lot more substance before he was a political pundit for the Daily Wire, when he was like an Andrew Tate without roid rage and rape vibes. He was a lot better for humanity than he is saying, fuck you, woke moralists, we'll see who cancels who. Like, that does nothing for me. That's like, if Jordan Peterson said that like in 2016, it'd be like, ooh, edgy, because that's a no-no thing to say. Jordan Peterson joined the Daily Wire and was like, just the feigned outrage that it feels like came out of Jordan Peterson after he joined the Daily Wire. He has a lot to be outraged about, but none of it feels real ever since he shacked up with them. And I have very little doubt that Tim Pool is going to be any different, since, I mean, think what you want about any of the things that Tim posted, but his posts have gotten much more just outrage bait-ish over the last couple days, even. Just like, you're retarded, fuck you, you disagree with me, like, just a lot more aggressively pro-Israel, some might say, or pro-whatever. He's just, it is not even just that either, like, even on the Elon stuff, which is a whole thing that we should be doing this entire episode about, but is probably going to be gone in 2.3 seconds, and nobody's going to care anymore next week, so we're not even going to really address it. But there's a lot of controversy going on with Elon, and of course Tim comes out, he's like, this all feels fake. People are outraged that Elon is shutting down Twitter accounts for disagreeing with him. It's like, yes, Tim, that's what we've always been outraged. That's what we were outraged with Jack Dorsey for, and for Elon Musk to do it, it's even worse. So I understand everybody's outrage, and Tim Pool is kind of like, something feels off. Something feels like he's working his way into the next phase, which, if the rumors have any bearing at all, is going to be the hollowed out Timcast, Daily Wire edition. Forget all the weird Chicken City fun stuff and bands and coffee shops and music videos and all that. I'm sure some of that will still exist, but it's going to be Jeremy Boring presents Timcast, and we'll see where that goes. But I mean, I'm intrigued to see where it does go. It's funny that you bring it up, because he is at the very bottom of my list, potentially falling off too, because unless he's in the same camp as, nothing against Joe Rogan or anything, but I only listen to Joe Rogan if he has on somebody that I care to hear an opinion of. If Dave Smith goes on Joe Rogan, I'm going to listen. If Dave Smith goes on Timcast, I'm going to listen. But as of right now, he's gone the way of Steven Crowder for me, where I'm just like, until you're talking about something that I actually care about your opinion on, or you have somebody on whose opinion I respect, I just don't care. And you can you can go the way of the Daily Wire, and you can all, fly that flag together. But it is unfortunate to see people who were voices or at least, potential voices, coming up voices in the dissident type realm, being like, yes, we're dissidents, we're the counterculture media and everything, to be like, well, yes, but on this one or two issues, we're barely going to address it unless we're attacking people that disagree with us, who are in our same camp. They just disagree with us, so they are evil. They're label, and I'm excitedly pessimistic to see where it goes. That's my rant. The end.
Yeah, I'm more convinced than ever, bro, that the Zionists run shit, and you don't get to play anywhere if you don't do that thing. Like, you reach a certain point, bro. Guess what, bro? Like, even Elon. Do you remember? Like, Ben Shapiro took his ass to the fucking camps and made him fucking touch the wall, do the whole thing. Sure. And Ben Shapiro, go to Dissident Media and search Ben Shapiro. Look at the clips. Look at the 10 or 12, 15 clips in a row of him like an assassin trying to take out Ron Paul and paint him an anti-Semite in 2012. And by the way, in 2012, he was getting no likes, literally 0 likes. Zero likes for 10 years on Ben. Yeah. No, nothing. No traction. He had nothing in 2012.
So he was like a modern day Chase Oliver.
Correct. But somebody decided that he should be the number one guy in the game and gave him all the money to do it. I heard a rumor that they might have overextended themselves. Jeremy Boring may have, trying to make like full-length feature films and stuff. I really hope they do it. But I just find that shit so insidious because they have all the money in the world and they are good on a couple things. But when where the rubber meets the road, man, they really suck and they lead people astray. And they do it with slick marketing and cool documentaries that are actually good. And, they mix in all their evil shit. But yeah, I'm not surprised that Tim Pool reached a point where, and honestly, like I can understand how you could get to a point where you do want other things in life. And, the people on the internet who give you shit about your beanie and other things are dickheads. And, you might just get to a point where you're like, fuck these people because somebody offered me $10 million to just chill. So like, I'm not even going to hate on you for that, bro. But I am going to call it out when I'm
going to still base him or judge him on the content of his character / words more than, his associations. But I don't have the highest of hopes. We'll see.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Elon, Vivek, Trump. Like, I don't think we're escaping this. The people who are taking this on right now, either go too far in the paint and you lose the whole thing and you end up looking like a dickhead. But there is real shit there, man. Like between CIA, Mossad control of media and stuff. It seems like it's really, I don't even think Elon can escape it. I think he was pretty based a year ago. And a lot of that has been tamed down. He brought Linda what's her name? Linda Yaccarino on from the ad council, from Comcast. These are all deep state, institutions through and through. And so anybody that thought like whatever the free speech thing would last forever or couldn't be aimed in one direction or another, like Twitter was a weapon. Like, why wouldn't it still be a weapon? It's still the same thing. It's just in the hands of different people.
It's a weapon in the hands of somebody that you like for now, and we'll see where it goes. And we've had our skepticism the whole time. We need to dig into that more probably next week in the new year, but I'm sure plenty more will develop as the time goes on. But for now, I do want to say, Timcast is not only at the bottom of my list of things that I still listen to. He's teetering on the edge, but he's also tied with somebody. And I'm mostly saying this just to outrage Tim, if he were to see this. Tim is currently tied let me say this in one clean clip here. Timcast, as of now, is tied in my ranking for podcast of the year. He's tied with the Tower Gang podcast. Tied. Absolutely tied. Because the Tower Gang podcast is terrible. And I would never admit that I listen to any of their shows. They're like in the worst of the worst, but they've gotten a little better. They've had on a couple of fun guests this year that have bumped them up slightly to where they, in their degeneracy, Tim has come down, they have come up, and they are currently tied, mostly because they are currently fighting on the internet, and Tim is calling them retards. So Tim Cast is currently tied on my podcast list with Tower Gang Podcast. Check out,
at least you know those
check
guys
out
are
neither of
real.
them. Neither of them.
Do not
Both
recommend either. But stay tuned because you'll probably recommend one or the other, within a couple of weeks. That's funny though. Most of those guys have been on that show and they're like, fuck you.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That's right.
I'll give them props for that.
I'll go through my list pretty quickly. Part of the problem comes in above Tower Gang and Timcast, who are, again, Tower Gang and Timcast are tied for my lowest good spot and highest bad spot in 2024. Part of the problem comes in above that. I do have things that come in above part of the problem. Maybe not. Maybe the next one is probably tied with part of the problem. Newcomers, also related to Tower Gang and Timcast. Nephilim Death Squad, Dave. Have you listened to Nephilim Death Squad?
Yeah, I know those dudes.
We did have a fake super chat here from Sim Calpin. Fake super chat. What are you guys' thoughts of Nephilim Death Squad podcast? Go ahead, Dave.
I think that we should have those dudes on this show. They should tell us about, I think if this is the conspiracy show, we should probably get an update.
I've had them both on. You just weren't here for either of them.
Well, I appreciate the invite.
You were invited to at least one of them, and one of them happened before I knew you.
Oh, okay. No, I think, Top Lops is obviously awesome. And I don't know the other dude personally, but no, I think that's a cool niche show that those guys seem pretty passionate about.
I do have to give them props for being entertaining and no holds barred. They say what they mean what they say. Well, sometimes they don't mean what they say because it's comedy sometimes, and sometimes it's intentionally over the top to inflame, but they put it out there and they do it in an entertaining way, in a well-produced way. So I got to give.
I will
props
say
to those
that.
guys.
Like I can't tell sometimes those guys and even just some of the whatever, like the subject matter. I can't tell if people are trolling or not.
Sure.
I can't tell. So I guess that's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you
I think
serious?
it's mostly not trolling. I mean, I think most of what they talk about on their show is not trolling, and they do actually mean what they say. There's something I was going to say. I don't remember what it was. Oh, also just from the title alone, I enjoy the Nephilim Genesis 6. If you guys go back years in this show, I got into that a lot more back in the day. We might have to revive some of that a little bit more. All the giants and flat earths and Bible conspiracy stuff. Especially with, dogmatic Christianity taking over authoritarianly again in the modern culture. I think it'd be a good time to revive some of the old biblical and religious texts that we've talked about on the show in the past. But we might have to have them on here to have a chat and get you a little more cut up to speed on some of that crazy bullshit. If you're down, Dave.
I'm definitely down.
Cool. Now, in at number 3 is Candace, just because she is whether she's correct on everything or not doesn't matter. She bailed from the Daily Wire, or got fired from the Daily Wire, I should say, kept going with her own thing and got more and more ballsy as time went on, and from having, what's his fucking name? Rabbi Barclave and Rabbi Shmuley, the two rabbis that she had on who were smearing her as an anti-Semite on the internet. She had them on and debated them and did a very good job defending herself. She has had on, or I don't remember, she had Kanye West, the interview that she did with Kanye West after Kanye West got canceled when he was on Alex Jones and Timcast and all that. During that canceling, she recorded an interview that she wasn't allowed to release with the Daily Wire. Now she's like, fuck it, and put it out. She's on top of things. And she did a multi-tiered expose on Kamala Harris during the election, and it wasn't what everybody else was talking about. It was how Kamala Harris's story about her childhood legitimately did not add up. Stuff that, can get you in trouble, and also not even a lot of the conspiracy folk are talking about this type of thing, or the podcasters. Like, it wasn't even really on my radar anywhere other than Candace Owens, which, you know, makes me a little bit hesitant. But she has a track record at this point of being like, no, if I'm saying it, it's because I've got enough evidence to put my name on it and say it. And she's done a lot of great work this year, despite the odds of, you know, going up against the biggest name in her industry and getting fired by them, and then saying, well, it's just me now, and here's what I have to say. And people like it. People like honesty, Dave. People like when you say things that are true, or things at least that you believe and actually believe, rather than what you're paid to say. Like, probably Tim Pool will be next year, but we'll see.
You're right. That's actually a really good pick. And I haven't listened to a whole lot of her episodes all the way through, but lots of clips of her with great guests, and she's been extremely brave.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, I mean, she just had Scott Horton on. I just got into that a little bit. Yeah, just haven't had the time, man, to get through some of these 2 and 3 hour podcasts, but she's awesome and appreciate her work.
Absolutely. Now, my number 1 and number 2 pick are complete newcomers that I've never discussed on this show before, because I discovered them this year. It starts with, this is my number 1 pick, I'll say first, because the other one ties into it. It's Kill Tony. I just discovered Kill Tony this year because of all the stuff that was going on. I stumbled across him when he had Shane Gillis on as Donald Trump and Adam Ray on as Joe Biden for an episode. Like, they're the panelists, and it popped up in my YouTube feed, and I have watched an entire year's worth of podcasts of Kill Tony since then. Just like, I don't care what it is, I'll just hit the next one, and that has been my entirety of my rotation basically over the last 4 to 6 months, because it doesn't matter who's on or what's going on. It is. Are you familiar with the show, Dave? First of all, no. Tony Hinchcliffe, comedian who got in trouble for the Trump rally.
Puerto Rican joke.
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen these clips, but I don't subscribe to them. Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy this. The entire premise of the show, which he's been doing for over 10 years now, is he's a comedian. He was a much lesser known comedian when he started it, but him and 2 to 3 other comedians are a panel, and then aspiring comedians get 60 seconds if their name is pulled out of a bucket to come out and give their 60-second best comedy bit. And then if it is great, and if it sucks, then they do an interview after. Well, they always do an interview after, but if it sucks, the interview is them tearing apart why it sucked and everything. So it's comedy gold, and it's a fucking brilliant premise that is entertaining, whether the comedy is good or bad, because you've got comedians who are still being funny about how bad it was. And it's a brilliant premise, and it is, I think, one of the most, one of the things that white pills me the most, because it's not modern comedy. It's just comedy, and it is offensive, and it is edgy, and they use the words, and they say the things that make you upset, and it's judged on whether or not it was funny rather than whether or not it was, politically salient or, watered down enough to be acceptable today. So I think that comedy, and especially offensive comedy, is more unifying than any of the woke bullshit that has been put out over the last 20 to 30 years. Just 2 people laughing at a thing that they know they're not supposed to laugh at together, and they come from different backgrounds. I think that is the best way to make a society function, and I think he's doing amazing work. So I had got into a show before the Trump thing, and then the Trump thing was just like, oh my God, Tony is at a Trump rally and just fucking killing / bombing at the same time, and going to cause so much controversy. It was great. It's been a great year for him, and he helped get Donald Trump elected for whatever that's worth. But not afraid to say what he thinks, and resides in Austin, Texas, and is running his show out of Joe Rogan's Comedy Club, and he has said multiple times on the show, Is
that true? He does his podcast specifically out of the mothership? Okay, so it's always in front of a live studio audience?
Yes. It is the number one live comedy podcast. It's not aired live, but it's filmed live, and then they release it like a couple weeks later. And Tony has said multiple times on the show that, like when introducing Dave Smith, who has been on there several times, he's like, this guy, whatever he thinks, those are my political views. Like, it's the number one comedy podcaster has Dave Smith out, and he's like, whatever that guy thinks, listen to him because he's right, and I'm stupid, and he understands it, and everything that he says makes sense. So there's things happening there, and yeah, even outside of Dave Smith's involvement, I think it's a win for humanity. Now, Adam Ray, who played Joe Biden on Kill Tony, I just in the last week, I think, discovered that, well, he also does other characters on the show, and he's done Dr. Phil a lot of times, and has just had a special come out on Netflix that is him doing Dr. Phil, his Dr. Phil live show, and Dr. Phil is the guest, actual Dr. Phil. So it's beautiful comedy gold and edgy and shit. Apparently, Adam Ray has his own regular live comedy show that is Dr. Phil Live that also airs on YouTube. And it's beautiful to see these like weird fucking passion projects being so successful, like more successful than any late night show or any like mainstream TV, like any Jimmy Kimmel. Kill Tony is killing them. And even Dr. Phil Live is doing better production than they are. I don't know about the numbers about it of it yet, but Dr. Phil Live, he'll have on like Jaleel White and Jay Leno and Wayne Brady in the same episode, and it's like a late night show hosted by fake Dr. Phil, and it's fucking hilarious. And we need more of that. We need less of the politics. Be real, like we need more edgy humanity and everything, but they're doing something that is like white pilling me for humanity and TV and entertainment, because nothing like this has been done since I was a child, I don't feel like.
That sounds like Kill Tony is like your biggest glowing endorsement for 2024. It's the best piece of entertainment, and
all of the political stuff. Like if you had asked me a couple months ago, it would have been like Dave Smith, Tim Pool, sometimes Steven Crowder, whatever. Now it's like, I don't care. I don't care what's going on in the world. Just let me laugh at comedians. Like, let me veg out for a bit about funny stuff. And I think that it adds more to the world than a lot of these political podcasters bitching about whether or not Elon Musk is too or not woke enough. I just don't care.
I can't be bothered to care, bro. I honestly, that's that's my 2025 resolution, is to care even less.
That's great on this show where we're supposed to talk about that stuff, but
it's very sad. I still care about the news. I still care about world events, but I could give a fuck about pop culture. I could give a fuck about who's making neat podcasts. I really don't give a shit.
That's fun.
I know. I'm so sorry. If it's real, Elon Musk, is he going to hook us up with a Neuralink? That's really fascinating to me.
Yeah, let's just get lost. Like, let's just check out entirely.
But these, I'll tell you what, man. But they, last year that is what you said. I'm pretty sure it was Steven Crowder sometimes. Tim, look how quickly it changes within a year.
Yeah.
So I mean that is kind of exciting.
And if we had more entertainment, like a Kill Tony or a ridiculous Dr. Phil Live show on, which again is like highly produced. It's just a YouTube show, and it looks better, or at least as good as all of the late night shows and everything else. It looks just as good, if not better, than the Dr. Phil Live show. And it's just a show made for YouTube, done in front of a live audience, so they're making money off of the live show automatically, and just coming up with innovative ways to make money and also make people enjoy life a little bit more, because that's, I thought, what entertainment was supposed to be, instead of feel bad because the Afghani tranny Pope, I don't know. I hate so many things these days that Kill Tony gave me more joy in the world.
No,
and
that is actually really exciting. And the format, like as you're saying, like bring in a live studio audience, make sure it's funny, get Give comedians a shot. Don't give them 10 minutes. Give them 60 seconds to see like how potent you can like get all that. That does sound like a winning. You put some friends at a table. It's kind of like a podcast. It's kind of like a talk show. I can see a lot of good things coming out of that too. I hope other people take note and try and do more shit like that. It's good.
Absolutely. Innovate, which, was what Timcast was all about not 12 months ago. Innovation, weird stuff, and building culture, and he still claims to be. We will see how much continues. I hope. I'm not trying to be a dick here. I hope that Timcast changes the world for the better. I hope that the Daily Wire changes the world for the better. I'm not crossing my fingers or holding my breath, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes, because it's a new year, Dave. It's a whole new year, and there's going to be a whole lot of new stuff that we're going to talk about in this whole new year. Now, before we wrap, I got to ask, since this is a news show, we got to cover a little bit of news. What has been a few of your favorite headlines for the year? A few of your favorite, timeline fuck-ups where Simulation Steve just didn't get it quite right, and he was like, let's throw in aliens or make Joe Biden fall down or whatever. What have been some of your favorite things?
I am just been really happy that Spike Cohen decided to let Jesus into his heart. I don't know if you heard that. That's pretty big news. Big news,
Amen.
Brzezinski.
That's right.
His soul is safe and secure.
Mm-hmm.
So cheers to Spike.
Amen. He's not selling out to the Daily Wire anytime soon.
Nope. That's how you know he's legit. Ron Paul and Thomas Massey getting brought in for the Doge department. That's pretty much the best liberty news I've heard in a really long time.
I would say Vivek and Elon having say in, anything that goes on for any of their faults. They're the ones that brought up Ron Paul and brought up Thomas Massey. They wouldn't have been mentioned if it wasn't for Vivek and Elon, especially Elon Musk, bringing them up. So have your beef with him, but he is the guy that launched Ron Paul's career to more relevancy than it's ever had. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. The drones thing that people aren't talking about anymore was kind of big cheese for just a minute, and then that's gone.
We also had, do you remember, I was looking back through some of the headlines throughout the year from the show, and we covered the Miami aliens back in like January or February of this year. And then there was like the Mexican alien disclosure where they showed pictures and stuff, and now we've got these drones over the last couple of weeks. We've had a lot of aliens this year, and yet here we are, no aliens, no drones left, and we're just supposed to move on like it's fine.
More money laundering operations, like the one that Julian Assange exposed in Afghanistan, which, by the way, freed in 2024. I don't think it's pardon, but that's a pretty nice thing that we can chalk.
Thank you, Joe Biden. God bless you, Joe Biden. You're the best president we've ever had.
What a guy. There is still a senile, racist president in the White House.
Yeah.
That is still...
Who admitted that he's not fit to run for president, but is still the president. That's on my list, too. Biden quit and stayed.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Escalations in 2 wars. That's kind of, pretty awful.
It's like if you're working a normal 9-to-5 job, you put in your 2 weeks notice. I mean, a lot of times they'll be like, you don't need to stick around for 2 weeks because we know that you're going to be putting in a half-assed effort. But instead of putting in a half-assed effort in those 2 weeks, your 2-week notice, you're like, I'm going to stick it out, be nice, but I'm going to blow up the printer. I'm going to stab the security guard in the neck. And because, I'm out of here in a couple weeks. So I'm going to rape the receptionist because, that's what you do when you're on senioritis. He's on senioritis. He is literally checked out. He's on a beach somewhere, but still killing people somehow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting him a break. Fuck you, Dave.
Fuck that. What else? What did you experience this year you thought was some...
Trump wins is at the bottom because it was kind of like it's a good thing, but it's like, yeah, we'll see. It's not that it wasn't a good thing that it's at the bottom. It's that if there's all that Trump winning proved was that we're not completely broken and the system isn't 100%, literally 100% rigged, because there's zero chance that Trump wouldn't have won in a not 100% rigged system. So that's good news. Elon Mania and all the Trump Justice League bullshit. Great things, great wins. Time will tell if I agree in the next few months or a year when we regroup at the end of next year. If we agree, do you think that we will still see? Do you think we'll still see Trump's Justice League as a win at the end of 2025, Dave? With the way Elon Musk is already sneakily turning the tides?
Oh man, I don't have faith in any of these people. So I would hate to say, oh yeah, everything's going to look great. But I did just vote for those guys for that reason. So
sure.
I was just talking about this with my buddy the other night at the bar, who's just kind of starting to pay attention to a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think the only thing that we can do, dude, is judge them day to day and go, that move, what he just did was good. What he just did was shitty. But the thing that we have to be aware of is that the hive mind doesn't operate like that. Like if you're heading towards a way, like the Titanic, like it was too late to avert the iceberg when, according to the story, if they didn't sink it for the Federal Reserve purposes. But according to the story, you can't just fucking turn the thing, like if you're on that course, Elon's going to become so popular, Trump so popular, all this shit that like, and you already see it with like people that have, their mindset. Yeah. But if it comes down to it and he pivots like in a day, you won't be able to adapt to that, right? As a people. So just be on the lookout, man. Yeah, like why would we trust any of those people?
Yeah. And rest assured knowing that if you're on Twitter, you'll know within seconds of Elon pivoting, because he pivoted slightly. Very slightly, which again, we're going to cover probably next week in the new year. Elon pivoted slightly, and the Twitter sphere lost their ever-loving minds about it. So if you're on Twitter, you'll know, and we'll all watch together. We'll all laugh about it together. Now, my top headline of the year is Trump getting shot. Whether you believe it happened or you don't believe it happened, it's quite a story that was, I don't know, kind of overlooked. I know that it certainly got some news, but not nearly as much as Donald Trump gets shot in the ear at a political rally should get, especially given the strangeness of the circumstances and the Secret Service and all that. So that's my number one headline of the year. I also had a couple dumb shit headlines of the year, like my least favorite headlines of the year that we're going to end on. No, this one wasn't a least favorite. The Jew tunnels. You remember that from earlier on this year, Dave?
Yeah, that was very fun.
I do enjoy a good just batshit off the wall crazy story. If you're not familiar, in New York City, Jew tunnels were discovered and Jews came crawling up out of them. And there were mattresses in them that had stains of some sort on them. Some have said blood, some have said poop, some have said who knows. Maybe it was just a homeless man sleeping down there. A homeless Jew pooping the bed in the tunnel. I don't know what it was, but it did come and go just as quickly as the Jews in those tunnels did.
You could have played that safely without worrying about a copyright strike, but you don't even have Jews climbing out of tunnels with poop on the bed for us to look at right now? We can't replay that as a recap?
All right. Well,
it's fine. It's no big deal.
Bring it all back. Jew tunnel. Let's see what that brings up on YouTube.
Some people, they might not believe you. Oh, yeah, YouTube. Sure, go to YouTube and see what you can find there for it.
All right. We do have at least
this
one
was
headline.
Me
or one
struggling
thing. Nope, not that. This is an ad for Spoiter I don't know. Whatever. Here's
they do have it.
Yep, they do.
To subdue them and to get them to follow direction and get out. At 7.
All right. We don't need your commentary on it. There were tunnels, creepy tunnels.
There it is.
That's the one that the dude crawled out of on camera. Now boarded up. So I guess that's the update.
Had to, in the end, use OC spray or pepper spray.
And when the cops showed up, the Hasidic Jew men got very upset and defended their tunnel with aggression. You determine whatever the fuck that means, and if you figure it out, you let me know. I'm not making any implications here. I'm just saying there are Jew tunnels in New York City that were shut down, and they were very mad about it. And they also had stained mattresses in them. That is the extent of my knowledge. Now you explain it to me in a way that makes sense. Dan at tsidpod.com. Now, moving on from Jew tunnels, my least favorite headlines of the year. I mean, obviously there's Gaza and war and the obligatory things that are sad and things that we have to say on
Yada, yada,
libertarian-
yada.
Yeah, blah, 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 dead kids and whatnot. But what really matters to me is the Luigi Mangione story. You know, the kids overseas, that sucks that they're dying and all, but the CEO of a conglomerate of healthcare that is bullshit got shot, and that one so far has bothered me just in how excited all of at least one half of society, we're told, is about this murder / assassination that we've covered on the show recently. But this one, I don't know. I don't like this headline because it's like it's like Antifa. It's like, good on you for being mad at the system and society, and also you're a piece of shit who's just as bad in a whole lot of ways if you're going around murdering people for your cause. So, yeah, I don't like this one, Dave. I just don't. I feel like we need a reloop of Ave Maria.
We don't want to encourage murder. We can entertain it when we watch Dexter, but we don't want to fucking, promote it in the mainstream. Though this is something that's been going on forever, dude. White women do love this. They loved when, what's that dude's name that they just made the Netflix documentary on recently?
Jeffrey
Dahmer.
Yep.
Yeah, they loved when that guy was murdering people in the 80s, 90s, that kind of shit. But yeah, I feel like this is just the beginning of what they're gonna murder more people, and they're gonna be like, that guy deserved murder, don't you think? Yeah. That'll be the general consensus.
Yeah, that's another one where we'll see where it goes, but we've got one more. My least favorite headline of the entire year, Dave. Do you have any guess what it might be?
No, I don't have any guess what your least favorite headline is.
My least favorite thing that we've talked about this year?
It has to have to do with trans.
Chase, 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 chase. C-H-A-S-E, chase. Nah. Chase.
Oh. We're putting that to bed.
One more.
Right? Today's one more.
Do we need to say anything, or does that pretty much sum it up?
I mean, since you played it, yeah, like this guy's still clucking like a bitch on the internet, not taking any personal responsibility. Just cluck, 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 cluck like a bitch. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're a libertarian. The market responded to you definitively that we are not interested. So shut the fuck up.
Oh, he's still going.
Shut up.
He's still clucking. He's still calling him out.
Clucking.
I just saw one. We're not doing news. We're definitely not doing a whole chase segment or anything, but I do have to pull this up because I just read it this morning and laughed out loud while sitting in my living room. And let's see if I can find it here. Yep, there it is. Here we go. From the Libertarian nominee. This is on the FBI talking about Ross Ulbricht over the last week. The FBI said on their Twitter account, on the Silk Road, a dark net site run by American cyber criminal Ross William Ulbricht, bargaining for illegal goods and services was as easy as clicking a button. FBI investigators seized Ulbricht's laptop and took down his criminal enterprise. Learn more here. So they just need you all to know, probably has nothing to do with Donald Trump saying he would free Ross Ulbricht, but the FBI just felt like posting on December 28th yesterday that Ross Ulbricht is a criminal, and you can find out more information here. PSA. In response to that, Chase Oliver said, and I quote, "I really, really hope Trump keeps the promise to #free Ross. He deserves a full pardon, but as long as he is free, I will be happy for him and Lynn, his lovely mother. If Trump gets talked out of it, libertarians should never stop making noise about it." Okay. Now, he went on to say, in response to somebody who brought up Angela, he said, "The other promises made and promoted by the chair after November the 5th haven't come to pass. No libertarians in the cabinet, no libertarians in top posts. I really hope the third promise is fulfilled. I saw this because Angela shared it and said, perpetually unemployed activist is mad that Trump hasn't delivered on all of his promises yet, even though Trump isn't in office yet. Perhaps he should have submitted his resume to the transition team. And then we might have to bring this up later on, but Chase Oliver is begging for money because he can't find a job now. And he's doing that semi-publicly, or at least it's been shared. And yeah, it's fun stuff going on in Liberty Land, you know. People yelling at people about things that they agree on and whatnot, and being mad that things haven't happened yet, even though there's zero way that Donald Trump could have done anything that he has promised yet other than putting a libertarian in his cabinet. So technically he has not come to, not fulfilled one of his promises to us, which is putting a libertarian in his cabinet, which is also debatable. And also his cabinet is not done yet. And also you were against Donald Trump the entire time and had nothing to do with the Ross Ulbricht thing. But my least favorite headline of the year is that Chase Oliver still exists and was just the dog shittiest candidate that we could have possibly come up with. I hate to say it because I hate that it's true, but it is true, and it's not just a bias because Dave Smith didn't run. I don't like that Dave Smith ran. That's all. That I guess that would be an even higher one on the list of headlines that I didn't like this year. I think that might actually beat out Chase Oliver. I think Dave Smith bailing on his presidential run is my least favorite headline of the year, just above Chase Oliver getting the nomination. Dave, thoughts?
I mean, the Dave thing aside, Chase, man, yeah, I can't believe that's where we're going to have a conversation about the Libertarian Party underneath the Twitter post from the FBI. First of all, you didn't
calling out the Libertarian Party on the post for the FBI. Yes.
You didn't do shit for Ross Ulbricht when you didn't mention this because you were so bitter that it came from the chair, that she did that and not you. There's no part of me for a second that thinks that you wouldn't prefer that he stays in a cage so you could just come out and go, I knew you wouldn't get it. That's right. 3 out of 3. I'm the big winner. You're a fucking loser. Right. Shut the fuck up, dude. And yeah, sorry. I'm going to leave this guy behind in 2025, but since we're still on it and we're doing the last episode of fucking Jason Cop. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Fuck that guy. You don't care about him. Stop acting like you care about him and his lovely mother, you fucking loser. You don't care. You don't care. Or you would have done something when you had the pedestal to do it, and you didn't because you're a loser.
I am curious how many meetings Chase Oliver did with Lynn Ulbricht as opposed to Angela McArdle, who he's calling out for, endorsing Trump. Also, one more big headline of the year that I should probably bring up is that I got married this year. I know that doesn't fall under any category, but
Nazi fags.
Come on, man. Silly woman.
I love democracy.
Yeah, that happened.
All the things.
That's right. All the things. It falls under all the categories, but that happened, and that happened on the way to a libertarian event that we got engaged, and then we were at your house, and then we just, on a random Wednesday, I was like, hey, we're not doing a show today. I've got some stuff going on. Then the next day I was like, hey, we can do it today. All right. We got married. Okay. So that happened. That was fun. It's been a good year, Dave. All in all, it's had its ups and downs. It's had its roller coasters and all sorts of crazy controversies and drama inside the Libertarian Party, outside, in real life for all of us, and in fake life on Twitter for all of us as well. If you had to put a pin on the year, what's the most white-pilling thing that has happened to you or that you've seen this year, Dave?
Dude, honestly, and I'm not even saying this to be braggadocious or to make it about me, but this was the fucking best year of my whole life. Nice. And things don't turn out. Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that, dude. Yeah. I mean, I'm serious. I'd love to see my homies win, and congratulations on your nuptials. Your wife is amazing, and I wish you guys, infinite happiness, man.
Nazi fags.
I know. If you expected me to get out of that moment without that, I didn't say that. But no, man, I have achieved my dream job. I I love my life right now. I'm doing liberty shit at like one of the most based human rights organizations in the whole world, doing real work for liberty. And I love this show. We didn't mention this show in the podcast section, but I love coming here to do this. And we got to start a media company this year, and who knows what we'll do in 2025, bro, with the great team that we have. And sky's the limit, man. But yeah, I'm doing a whole lot less of the public facing stuff, and it feels like that's just a natural thing for me. You'll probably see I'll probably go officially cancel my podcast in 2025.
Sure.
Because I have other shit to do.
Yeah. And like showing up for this show. Where were you last week, Dave? What the fuck?
To this show last week, you had Josh on, which was really good. I was in the comments for a good portion of that, at least listening, if not watching.
Yeah.
And which, in fact, by the way, I meant to tell you how touched I was that how you said Dave quite a few times. Oh, not Dave. Dave, I miss Dave. Dave. No, not Dave. Josh.
Yes.
So that was nice. I feel like I've become.
I mean, I did call you Jack Casey for the first like 6 months.
Not Jack.
Calling you Josh Dave only makes sense at this point.
Different store, same groceries, but that was nice. And shout out to Jack Casey, man. Miss him, and he was in the chats too.
Nazi fags.
I mean, stop setting it up, and I'll stop.
I can't. I just lob. I'm like the fucking T-ball stand for you, bro.
You got to be able to pew.
No, but that's probably my plan. I'm working. I'm working in 2025, and I'm not just fucking punching the clock and making the donuts. I'm fucking taking it to the state, bro. I feel really good about where I'm at right now. You're just gonna see less of me on Twitter and making shows about myself, but yeah, still fucking here raging out and doing the thing. So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. Got plans. We've got plans. I've got plans. We've got plans. You've got plans. Plans. Any resolutions, Dave? Any specific things that you're like, I need to...
It wouldn't kill me to do a fucking push-up once in a while. I should probably,
Sure.
So that's probably it. I've been eating better. I've been, like trying to read more, doing those kinds of things, but I got to get my physical fitness. I see Maj Touré is up every day at 4:30, goes to leaves his house.
So is Andrew Tate.
Oh my God. Right. That guy though.
I mean, Andrew Tate is up calling everything gay by 2 a.m.
He does not make me want to be better. Maj makes me want to be better. A couple other people do. So that's probably it. Physical fitness in 2025.
Yeah.
Put some shoulders up, maybe some pecs, bro.
I posted the other day, my goal, and it's a low one. It should be achievable. I should be able to do it. So please hold me accountable. But my goal is to put out 1 song per quarter next year. And that they might not come out in the quarter, but put out at least 4 songs. Not just write, but put out. And I've got a whole lot of songs in the tank. If I really wanted to just drop 4, I could easily tomorrow. But, the obsession process and all that. But 4 new songs is my goal in the next year. And Dave, I have a feeling that you're going to play some sort of role in that if you're down.
I'd love to get the opportunity to be a feature collabo on your hip hop record.
Well, we'll see what style it is or what comes out of it. But, as Tim Pool bails on all the cultural changing and stuff, or, in fairness, the things that don't make money, I'm going to do it anyway and put out some fun shit next year is my plan. So hold me accountable. If I don't put out 4 songs the next year, unsubscribe from the show, bail on your Patreon, because for all the work I put into this, I like music and I like making it, and we all need to get back to doing real stuff other than yelling at people on the internet about politics. But it's been a fun year, and Dave, it's been our first full year together. Thank you so much for all the time that you've put into this show, not like doing the work and watching TV shows and whatnot, but just being here and being you. That's all I ask of you, and I thank you for being the best you that you are, and hanging out and filling in all my blanks, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Pleasure to be here with you.
Any final thoughts? Or where can people find you and all the mysterious things that you're doing behind the scenes these days?
You can't find me.
Based.
You can't find me. I'll be over here in the cut. No.
I'll be in the shadows. That's how Illuminatis work. But thank you all for being here. Thank you all for hanging out and hanging with us for another year. I know it's been in and out and up and down, not just in the news, but in our, regularity, I say to you, at 4:32 on a Sunday evening. First time in a long time for a Sunday. hang with us, and if you enjoy it, let us know, and let us know what you do and don't like. Dan at tsidpod.com, at tsidpod on Twitter, and thesystemisdown.tv is the website. And we will see you guys all in the next year. We'll see where all of this stuff goes, and we'll keep you abreast of it to the best of our abilities and keep you entertained moderately. Dave, you want to read one more super chat?
Dan Smotz. Congratulations, my nigga.
Question everything. Stay uncomfortable. Be bad. Have fun. We'll talk to you guys next year. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.